Hello everyone and welcome to the newest edition of Adeptus Podcastus. This is Remlace from 40k Theories alongside, as normal, Michael from Tactical Imperials. Alexis couldn't join us today as she is down at a convention. So our guest this week is Miranda, aka Wargamer on YouTube. So firstly, how is everyone doing today for the 15th episode?
Fantastic.
Surprisingly well. It's the last day of term. I've just finished a lab report. I'm actually happy on the podcast episode, so people who thought I was sad, calm down.
I've got you beat. It's my birthday today.
Okay, I lose.
Okay, well, happy birthday, Miranda.
Thank you.
So, in the news this week, we had some more leaked rules in regards to War Armageddon, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Sorry, just, bother. Sorry, another mind. Yes, we did.
Cool. And that was for, who was it? It was for Tau and...
Tau and Dark Eldar. So the Tau kill team for War Armageddon will be Pathfinders, and it looks like at least part of the Dark Eldar one, if not all of it, will be witch cults rather than Carbolites.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Witch cults.
Well, I suppose gotta sell those models.
Oh, yeah. True. I mean, only just...
But yeah.
I mean, who else could it really be? Because...
Well, you had it could have been Carbolites, which is the homunculi wouldn't have fit properly, like racks and stuff. So it'd have been one of those two. And as the witches are more lightly armored than Carbolites, I think it gives them a different dynamic because I suspect the Eldar one will probably be Guardians or some form of aspect warrior like Dire Avengers.
Imagine the Eldar one probably like Rangers.
Ah, yes, of course, Rangers. But if you give Carbolites, I think you can take things like blasters, which are like two-handed, like Dark Eldar equivalent to melter guns, and witches don't get those. So it could be that there are actually Carbolite teams in there as well, and we just don't know about it yet. Because I mean, Space Marines, I think you can actually get Space Marine squads or Chaos Marine squads. I forget. Well, I know Marines get scouts, but I don't know what Chaos are going to get. Whether they'll get cultists or not, because cultists isn't really that much of a typical Chaos force. So I'd expect that the Astartes would be in the game somewhere, especially considering Space Wolves don't really have scouts.
Scouts.
But yeah, true. But yeah, okay, it could go either way. But I think the main reason they go for witches is just to give them a different dynamic to craft welders. But then again, they might have both, and I could see you could probably get two options per team. I don't know.
Question is, will we get Sisters of Battle in the game?
14 factions. I said there's 14 factions. So I'm going to go with probably not in the first wave, but maybe eventually.
That'd be pretty slick.
Yeah, because you.
Now wait a minute. This is all kill team size stuff, right? For Armageddon.
Yeah, it's like one squad.
So I mean, would they do any of the? Well, no, that's 30k for the Sisters of Silence. So I don't know.
Not anymore. Sisters of Silence are in 40k now, along with the Custodians. Their codices their codices are either about to come out or are already out.
They're in with that Talons of the Emperor box set. I know that.
Yeah.
Seems like it would make sense for them to push that one instead, because they're new and have their weird hairstyles.
Yeah, I've got a team of Sisters of Silence. I'm selling them on. To be honest, I don't want them in my 30k army because Thousand Suns don't mix with Sisters of Silence. But actually, the books must be out because Alpha tweeted out that thing about the Custodes ditching their armor when the Emperor died. Do you remember? So Alpha tweeted out about an hour or two ago.
Yeah. It was just basically him saying, look, the stripping is kind of canon.
Kind of.
It's kind of canon. They cast off their cloaks and now they're naked. With that JoJo theme playing in the background.
Don't. If they ever proper confirm the Pilastodes as canon, then there will just be so much shit that gets flipped.
Funny enough, I've been seeing loads of people making Pilastodes conversions as of late. Like,
it was the first thing that happened after Prospero came out.
No, like with those new Zinch cultist models for Age of Sigmar, whatever they're called.
Kairos Acolytes or Zangors?
No, the Kairos Acolytes, yeah. They've been using them as the base for like, the loincloths and stuff, and just adding the Custodes helmets and stuff to them.
Yeah, because I'd seen it done with Chaos Marauders, But fair enough.
It actually looked pretty good, even though the head looked a bit oversized. But then again, what do you expect with a banana for a head? Well, considering it's like with Shadow of Armageddon, whatever it's called, it's like kill team size. Do you reckon it'll be? I was expecting more of instead of just having a squad, I thought it'd be like more akin to Necromunda, where you just have different model types and you just basically form a unit that way. So you have like a leader, a heavy guy, specialist.
Looking at the Tau, I can only speak for the Tau one. The Pathfinder team is composed of individual models, and you can pay for a leader, basic guys, cadets, and I think there's also a specialist. So there are different classes, but they're all maybe just confined to one unit, and then they can all operate independently. So it's kind of more akin to the modern day kill team, but with only one unit type. I think.
So I can imagine with like the Genestealers, you can have like maybe as leader you have a Primus or a Magus, and then you can have a pure strength Genestealer or a Aberrant or a couple of hybrids or neophytes, etc.
At that point, your scale that's kill team the game. Shadow War is basically tops out. I think it's like 3 to 10 Space Marine scouts or 3 to 20 Orc boys with a knob. So like it's designed for one squad warfare. Kill team itself, I've played Kill Team. It's fantastic. It's 200 points, and as long as you obey the minimum size for a unit, like you have to take a minimum of, let's say, 4 Pathfinders or 5 Bio Warriors, whatever, you can, and you fill up a certain force org, you can go with it. It's I don't know what Necromunda used to be like. I didn't play old Necromunda 1.0, but
naughty boy.
Necromunda went out of commission before I was born, dude.
They had a second edition that came out in like... You were not born in 2004.
I wasn't playing in 2004.
Yeah, no, it's still no excuse. Saying it without a commission. Besides, you can still buy the books on things like Amazon. You know, you can get copies of the rules.
We've been thinking about getting into the old games, me and my friend, but with Blood Bowl getting redone and Necromunda now basically being redone, and there's this something a jib for AOS that's maybe going to be like Mordheim, I don't know.
Warhammer Underworlds.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, there's a new game for Age of Sigmar, which is kind of a small-scale game as well, which I don't know if that's going to be like Mordheim, but I think we might postpone it and hopefully wait for a Battlefleet Gothic reboot, because that would be swell.
That one is exciting looking, mostly because, big ships, so...
Yeah, agreed.
As far as the, what was I going to say? As far as the kill team stuff goes, though, I mean, that's kind of for people getting into the game maybe initially. Would you say that Armageddon or kill team is like a good introduction for people to 40k?
I haven't played Armageddon yet, so I don't know. But having played Kill Team, we played it with a custom rule set as opposed to playing it properly. But it was an absolute blast to play. But as a new player, it might be kind of hard because Kill Team, at least the way I was playing it, was extremely... I was having to make split-second decisions and gamble with my units, and it's something that maybe a brand new player wouldn't get right away. Because when I introduced my friends to the hobby, or one of my friends from uni, I set up a either 500 point, 750 point mirror match and taught the rules that way, rather than going into Kill Team, which has got like specializations and things like that, which makes it a bit more intricate.
I always seem to struggle with balance, and all my experience of having played it like a couple of years ago, because it was like a sisters versus tyranid thing, and it was terrible. But it did seem to suffer from balance in that regard.
I mean, I took a 200-point Tau Kill Team through a gauntlet where I went through nearly 600 points of Chaos Cultists, Spawn, and Demons. Fantastic game. It was one of the best battle reports I've ever made. But, yeah, I think Kill Team is actually probably a really good place to start because... yes, it's got such intricacy that the players like me and you guys could really appreciate it and like really play with it, but it's not going to be something that you can't. It's not got a too high a barrier to entry, I would say.
Well, it's just you can't have like big machines. You can't bring like big tanks or anything. So even as a a cost entry is fairly straightforward, I would think.
True.
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's one I've been considering doing on my channel, just because 40K. I still have quite a few sisters left to paint. I still have a silver Saint Celestine who's literally been on my desk for years. So.
Oh god.
And now there's a new one.
I'm not going to get a new one.
You get the
It
Gemini
took forever to
with it,
find the wings. Okay, so no, not.
But what about the Gemini you get with him? Or her?
But then you also have to get Call and Greyfax.
Yeah, true.
To be fair, it's a very shrewd piece of business from GW. Like, nobody would buy Cypher and Voldus unless they were particularly bothered about it, but because it's in the box with Guilliman, well, you're going to just have to get
Well,
them.
in fairness, people would buy Cypher if it was really standalone because it's Cypher. The only one that
And he
people
wasn't a walking plot hole.
True. The only one that people really didn't care about is Voldus, just because he was just there in the background.
He didn't do anything.
It's like, hi, I'm the guy in charge of the Grey Knight. What about Caldor Drigger? We don't talk about him. He's doing too much warp dust.
Pretty much. Yeah, he's their chief librarian, I think, if I remember correctly.
Ah. Oh,
I think-
he's the acting Grandmaster, isn't he?
I don't know about acting Supreme Grandmaster, but I remember pretty much reading that he's like their chief librarian. Which may or may not be the same thing in the Grey Knights.
Fair enough. And in other news, not so much 40k related, more fantasy related, but they've announced Total War Warhammer 2. And it's actually got 4 playable races, none of which are the same ones from Total War Warhammer 1, which would be a nice change. The 4 races are High Elves, Dark Elves, Lizardmen, and Skaven.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down. Sold.
Gosh, that seems so fast. It hasn't been out, like the first one hasn't been out that long.
No, it hasn't. I mean, it's got how much? It's had like three rounds of DLC. Britannia, Wood Elves, and
Chaos
I feel like it was Chaos a DLC.
Yeah, Chaos Warriors DLC. Yeah, that was like the pre-order DLC, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's what got everyone worked up, because it's like, you want to play as Chaos? Yes, pre-order the game. Fuck.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, they do know how to sell stuff.
But that's really clever on CA's part, because the original game's set basically fighting over the old world, the Empire, Sylvania, the Badlands, Britannia, and such.
And now we got the new world.
Yeah, you've got Lustria, Ulthuan, Nagaroth, wherever the Skaven decide to hole up.
Which will probably be Lustria again, because that's when they popped up with the Clan Pestilence, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, there'll be a lot of Clan Pestilence in that, as opposed to the Warlord clans. I would expect, anyway. Like, obviously, they'll have to put in Doom Wheels and Screaming Bells and such, but I suspect they'll have quite a Pestilence vibe to it. And dragons. Yes, there's going to be dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
The elves the High Elves have 3 breeds of dragon on their own. And they have dragons and griffins and eagles and yes.
Dark Elves have got they got the Hydras and that as well, haven't they?
The Hydras, the Charybdis, this is good, and the Cauldron of Blood, and
then Lizardmen got things like Stegodons and
Carnosaurs,
Bastillodons,
the Terramyth things, Pterodons,
yeah,
the spiky ones, Barbed Razordons or something.
Yeah,
the equivalent to the salamanders. That's going to be brilliant.
I just like the fact that they're focusing on 4 completely different races rather than recycling races from the first game.
And the other really good thing is this actually sets up the possibility of Navy again, because the Elven navies are legendary. I know you had Navy in Total War Warhammer 1 that you could carry your units across the rivers and stuff. Or did you even have navies?
I haven't actually played it yet.
I'm trying to remember.
I've got it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I feel like there's like naval units, but they don't fight. Or if they do, it's like all auto-resolved, maybe like in Rome Total War. But this is going to be a really good chance to show off the Elven navies.
Especially when you consider that Dark Elves, for their navy, they've got literally floating castles.
Yeah, the Black Keeps don't really leave Nagaroth, but is it Black Keep? Some might, yeah. I don't think like your Haganeths or anything will.
But they've also got a whole bunch of sea monsters for their navy.
Yeah, the Hydra and the Charybdis in particular.
So you're thinking we'll see naval support or naval warfare in Warhammer 2?
I would like to see naval warfare, or at the very least, because it's what the Dark Elves particularly are renowned for, beach landings, maybe.
The problem is that Lizardmen really didn't have a navy of any sort. I mean, Skaven did. They had like those they're like these what are they called? Like little steamboats, the bit with the giant hamster wheels. They had those, but the Lizardmen didn't have a navy.
Did you say hamster wheels?
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, have you seen the Doom Wheel?
No, but I'm about to.
Yeah,
it's literally a giant hamster wheel of death.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Skaven Doom Wheel. Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. That's special. That doesn't look like it floats though.
No, but they have they build those into ships, I think, and stack warp lightning cannons up for days.
Yeah. Skaven are interesting. I always underestimate how, I guess, advanced they kind of are, because they're rats, so you think they just swarm you, but they actually have quite a bit.
Yeah.
Very orcish, I guess, in that regard.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're introduced back into Age of Sigmar, actually, because with the Caradon Overlords now being in, and they've got that steampunk vibe going for them. I heard the Skaven were going to get a bit of a steampunk vibe as well.
Oh, for Clan Skryre,
way back.
Wasn't it?
Oh, Clan Skryre are broken right now. Clan Skryre are broken. I played against Pestilence and they were all right, but Skryre is just broken.
I expect everyone's got a giant magic bullet shooting machine gun, or flamethrower, or giant hamster wheels of death.
Or warp-loaded sniper rifles, or whatever.
That seems a bit overpowered.
That's the Jezzails. That's their core troops.
Don't forget the rattling guns.
Yeah, rattling guns, doom flayers. Oh, Skaven are fun. I never really wanted an army of Skaven because I got the elves from Island of Blood, but the Skaven do look fun.
I just started playing Vermintide and I'm fighting against them now, so yeah, I'm kind of learning about them a little more from that game.
I always loved in Warhammer Fantasy how they had that special unique leadership rule. Like they were leadership 5, but if you had for each rank you had in their unit, they gained +1 leadership. Strength
in numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Skaven were really good fun. But we should probably stop talking about fantasy because people don't like talking. Yeah, this is a 40k podcast, and people don't like it when we don't talk about 40k.
Well, people don't mind fantasy. It's just when we start talking about Age of Sigmar, we start getting the hate because no one.
I'm going to hold that thought on Age of Sigmar because I'm going to be talking about that later. Hold that thought.
So, audience, don't get mad yet, but in about 25 more minutes.
Oh no, give it an hour and 25 minutes. You don't know how long these questions take.
Oh, is it time for questions already? Oh, bring us on.
Well, unless there's anyone got any other things to throw into the discussion before we get into it, because we've only been going for 15 minutes. I did want to throw out one
thing, because right before coming in here, one of my friends sent me a notice for anybody trying to keep up with you folks. The entire Horus Heresy, or a huge amount of the Horus Heresy Black Library, is available in Humble Bundle right now.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, so I think I might pick that up because it's $15 to get a ton of books.
It's like 10 books for $15, isn't it?
Yeah. 15 will get you as much lore as you probably really need to know.
Well, yeah. Actually, I was streaming the other week and I had a couple of my physics friends over. Best stream I've ever done, and we were talking about stuff, just like Warhammer stuff, and I rattled off what the Great Crusade was, who the Primarchs were, the backstory of Conrad Kurz, the backstory of Angron. I just rattled all these facts. I was like, if I could do that for physics, I'd be getting a 100%. How do I know this much trivial shit by now?
Well, passion is a thing.
True. Hence why Remlace is a walking encyclopedia. Quote Alexis.
I wouldn't go that far, but
compared to us two. Actually, yeah. One thing, Gathering Storm. I'm not going to go into another rant about Gathering Storm. We've done enough on that. But have you read it yet, Remlace?
I've read books 1 and 2. I'm just started reading book 3 because that came today.
Okay. Well, in book 3, minor spoiler. The McCragg's Honor turns up.
Does it say? Yeah, and I've heard about that. But does it say how? Because it was supposed to be lost in the warp for thousands of years.
No, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't.
I was
hoping you could answer me as to how it turns up, because if it turns up, then where's Marius Gage?
Yeah, I'll be looking into that. Don't you worry. Just like how the Emperor has 2 flagships. Like, do you need to? I can just imagine, like, Malkador had a commission. It's like, here are my friends. We have the Bucephalus and the Imperatus Selenium. Now, which one do you want? They're both mine. What? They're both my flagships. But no, I'm supposed to know that. Fuck you, Malkador. They're both mine. You get nothing.
To be fair, I'm surprised one of them wasn't given to Horus. I know he had the Vengeful Spirit, but I'm surprised one of them wasn't passed to Horus when he became War Master.
Apparently each of these ships was, like, many times larger than the largest Space Marine battle barge and completely covered in gold. As you do for the Emperor.
I'm assuming they're part of the Terran Defense Fleet now.
Well, I assume so, considering that one day the Emperor decided to stop using Bucephalus and start using the Imperator Selenium, or whatever it was called. It's like, hang on, what happened to Bucephalus? Oh, someone called Alexander wanted it back. If you got the reference, well done.
Alexander the Great.
And Bucephalus was the name of his horse.
That's an epic... I only know anything to do with that because Epic Rap Battles of History is a thing.
I don't watch that, surprisingly.
Fair play.
Mostly because I hate rap.
I'm not a huge fan of rap, but I can appreciate the puns and the play that goes on in ERB. So.
Hey now, that's like one of the biggest contributions America gave to the world. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry.
Never mind that it's actually you've how many genres are stemmed from it? Like rap, soul, jazz. It all comes from an R&B, hip hop. It all comes from one place.
No,
it's
totally
just hilarious.
Yeah.
Everything comes back from blues.
Yep.
And blues
Indeed.
is fine. Anyway, shall we move on to the questions?
Sure thing. I'll go down to the bottom to the oldest questions. If you are watching this anytime between date of recording, which is the 31st of March, and date of release, which is going to be like the 5th of April, then sorry, it isn't here right now. And also, if we run out of time to do that, which I don't think we will, just leave it in the comments for the next one, and we will do what we can.
And stop asking if the Emperor can be remade out of Cyberdongs. It will be answered tomorrow, the 1st of April. And no, that's not a joke, even though the episode itself might be. You
published that little teaser earlier. I saw that.
And I had to explain that I didn't write the date wrong, because people keep thinking that it's like, but January's already been. No, that's not what I mean. Because we do it in day, month, year, smallest to biggest. The logical way.
Bloody Americans. No offense. Well, yeah, no offense.
Some offense, not real offense. Anyway, what do you got?
Okay, this one is particularly for Remlays. I think apparently there's some challenge that someone set you long ago to make a video about loyalist word bearers.
There was
that
one.
Yeah.
And he ended up killing a bunch of Galvor back before he got arrested by the Knights Errant. I can't remember his name for the life of me, though.
The other one I know is Volkar Reth, who was part of the Crusader host and then was then turned into a conduit by Saur Talgren.
No, I don't think it was him. It was someone else. Because he was playing the word bearers. He was pretending to be loyal, and then when he got what he wanted, he ended up killing a whole bunch of them and just buggering off.
I can't say. Yeah, I haven't come across that story, unfortunately.
It was in some of the Garrow stories.
Ah, right, okay. I haven't read those, unfortunately.
Garrow's fucking awesome. We need more Garrow.
Yeah, I want Garrow's story resolved, please. Nearly as much as I want Cypher's resolved.
Yeah. And before anyone asks, no, Garrow doesn't become a Grey Knight. That's been confirmed by Black Library. He does not become one of the founding Grey Knights. He might become one of the founders of the Inquisition if he survives the Horus Heresy.
Well, as part of my lore series, I've been cataloguing every Knight Errant I can find, and every psychic one that I come across, I'm like, this could have been a Grey Knight, or someone that we confirm. So, Tylos Rubio, Reviel Arbiter, Felzerost of the Night Lords, there was a Salamander who was a Psyker, the Severian of the Lunar Wolves, so very unlikely for it to be Garrow at this point.
I always thought it was kind of stupid in regards to Reviel Arbiter. Sorry to interrupt. It was like, hey, Reviel Arbiter, yeah? Have some of Magnus's soul. Now you're Janus.
Yeah, that was a new twist.
That was
That
the
was a
most
twist.
stupid thing I read. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Even by some of the convoluted stuff 40k pops out, that was dumb.
Yeah. We got the former chief librarian of the Raven Guard. I forgot him as well. Who became what's his name? Kuthuri. You've got Umojan, former chief librarian of the Salamanders.
Isn't that 3 chief librarians who became Knights Errant then?
Imogen, Kuthuri, and
Who
who'll be the other one? Oh, Zarost.
Yeah.
I don't know if Zarost was chief because
I'm
he
pretty
was
sure.
exiled.
I'm pretty
He
sure
was
he was chief librarian, wasn't he?
I'll go back and have a look. I've overcooked my scrolling. Hang on. Fell Zarost. Yes, he was. He was chief at Nicaea, and then he had a massive argument with Sevatar and got chucked out, basically.
There we go.
So yeah, 3 former chief librarians plus Rubio and Arvida and Severian. So we've essentially got 6 of 8 already, and I've not even finished my law series. I'm only just halfway through.
Fair enough.
Sounds like a lot of drama.
The Horus Heresy.
Can't everybody just get along, guys? I don't understand.
Oh,
That was
Horus.
that was the reason why the 11th Primarch got someone from history. It's like, can we just get along? He was the hippie Marines. He just on the planet Woodstock. He just sat around smoking weed all day. And
Actually,
I don't condone that. Obviously, they need haircuts and jobs, but I mean, geez.
Actually, that just made me think of something. Can Space Marines get high? Because I know that they have great difficulty getting drunk.
They need.
I can't imagine they would.
They would need the right kind of chemical concoction, considering the fact that Mjod was purely made for Space Marines to get drunk on.
Yeah, the Fenrisian ale that the Space Wolves have to drink copious amounts of just to get anywhere.
That's literally petrol.
Ew. So they're highly, combustible afterward?
Both in body and attitude.
Well, it's not the Space Wolves.
Oh, wait, there aren't any. Ew.
Hey, it was true all along. There are no wolves on Fenris.
Not anymore. Haha.
Magnus did nothing wrong. Hashtag.
Indeed. Right. Have any of the Kroot fallen to... This person asks Slanesh, but I'm going to say have any of the Kroot fallen to chaos that we know of? I'm going to say no. Not that we know of.
I mean, I can imagine there might be some in the future. It could fall to Slanesh, considering that the whole culture is eating, and Slanesh is
and they're psychic.
I thought they're only psychic if they eat a psychic species.
They can gain psychic traits off consuming Eldar, but they're fully capable of warp travel. So they have the equivalent to the Navigator gene built into their own DNA. Not just on eating a Navigator. They can warp travel anyway. So they don't really tell the Tau about it. Or if they do, then it's just sort of kept hush-hush. But they can warp travel. What
do they use to navigate? Because in the Navigator gene is there purely to see the limits of the Astronomicon, isn't it? That's right. We can go there because I can see everything there.
I assume that it's if the Eldar ever had to use the warp, then it would be the same. They just follow almost a psychic breadcrumb trail.
Yeah, but the Eldar haven't. But the Eldar don't use the warp just because Slash goes ooh, snacks.
I know they don't anymore, but back when they could, I assume that they could follow a psychic trail, or maybe there's a beacon on the other end. So let's say they're traveling to X world in X system.
True,
and that
they also
that's almost like a
webway.
mini Astronomicon.
They still had the webway, and the webway is apparently far quicker and more stable anyway. So the Eldar be like, why would you risk going through warp? We can just go through that corridor and be there instantly.
Yeah, true. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I do know the Kroot can warp travel and can have psychic traits, and so are potentially corruptible by chaos. Yes.
Fair enough. Next question.
If Michael and Alexis entered the wrestling ring, especially after Alexis baited Michael about his beloved Tau, who would walk out and who would be stretchered out? Basically, who would win a fight between me and Alexis?
It depends if it's a standard wrestling match or if it's a no-holds-barred match, submission match, last man standing match, etc. It would depend. And it would depend how many run-ins there are. Depends if this is Attitude Era WWE or not.
I may play rugby, but I've got all the finesse of a drunken sparrow. I'd go down very, very... I'm not finesse. unless I could win on raw strength, I would lose because I've just got no grace.
So you say that if it's no holds barred, it would be a different outcome than if there were rules. So who's the one not following the rules?
Alexis.
Man, I miss her already.
I'm sure.
I just imagine Alexis being the epitome of being like Dick Kick City.
Yeah, I would probably want some armor before I went anywhere near that one. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yes. Next question.
Is it possible that the Primarchs themselves actually controlled where they were spat out of the warp? It seems oddly coincidental that they ended up on worlds so similar to their legions in nature, all on habitable worlds as well. And all the Primarchs are psychic to some extent and are known to have an unusually powerful willpower. I mean, it took Horus, basically, effectively centuries inside the warp before he crumbled and fell to chaos, and that was with outside influence helping him along.
I don't really think so.
I think it was the gods. Well, there's an argument both ways. The fact they landed on habitable worlds, I can explain. That's the Chaos Gods wanting new playthings.
Yeah.
But the fact that the worlds they landed on were so similar, you could argue to a point of there was something like, well, we need this person to grow up to match their. Well, why not make the Primarchs completely different from their legion so it created more hostility between them?
True. But again, at the same time, I don't. Considering that the whole basis of the war is, emotion and stuff like that, I think it may not necessarily have been a conscious choice by the Primarchs. It might have been an unforeseen side effect.
Yeah, it would be subconscious because they were still, basically test tubes at the time.
They were babies. Babies in tubes. The thing is, in regards to natures and that, you can make an argument against a couple of them, really, considering the fact that, I mean, in regards to things like, the Blood Angels, you're having a fine, they have a fine appreciation for art, beauty, and they come from a world which is, the only thing they really value is, is humans. Like,
it's basically Fallout the planet.
Yeah. Which doesn't really leave much choice for things like, beauty and art, considering it's a huge radiation-blasted desert.
But at the same time, you could also use that as a convenient excuse for Sanguinius's wings. If let's say, because he's landing on a world that hates mutants, so the fact that he had massive angel wings, I don't know. I've argued like nature and nurture before, but as far as this goes, I think it's predominantly the gods. Predominant.
It's predominantly the gods with some potential subconscious side effects.
Particularly from the particularly psychic ones, such as Magnus.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Since the Eldar gods were active at non-Eldar races, and chaos can be worshipped by anyone, would it be possible, however unlikely, for non-human, not abhuman, Xenos species to start worshipping the god Emperor?
Interesting point. I mean, I see no reason as to why not, but at the same time, if the Imperium finds a race of the Kroot, for example, or worshipping the Emperor, they'll probably just think it as an abomination, just kill them all regardless. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the orcs see the Emperor as a god. He's the war god of humanity, is how they think. They compare him to be like Gork and Mork. So, not impossible. Highly unlikely would have to be done away from the Imperium's eyes, is my answer.
And so I can see where the guys on this question is coming from, because the Hrud have the same gods as the Eldar, but then there's a link to say, well, that's just the old ones. So that's probably the reason why the same pantheon. It's kind of like when you compare Rome and Greece, they had the same gods, just different names. Instead of being called Dave, it was called Steve.
But such a thing's never been explored in the lore, insofar as you guys know?
Not that we've come across. No. Because the only time when humanity was ever really going out and meeting new races without putting them straight down was in the Great Crusade, when the God Emperor wasn't even a thing.
Okay, so quite a while. So, I don't know, that could be kind of an interesting thing.
It'll just probably end up spawning more memes like that meme, Tau women prefer human men, that kind of thing. Anyway, next question.
Yep. Conveniently, it mentions Tau.
Hey.
Have the Eldar and Tau actually met in the fluff? Is there actually a story where the two of them have met, or has it just been tabletop stuff?
So
I know the Dark Eldar have met the Tau.
Yeah, the Dark Eldar have, because they basically so like, oh yeah, we'll help you, but we want payment in return. Oh, what do you want? We want you, and you. It's for a diplomatic
cultural
mission.
Exchange. A cultural exchange of, I think it was seven. It was a sum multiple of 7 warriors from each caste and a bunch of ethereals.
Yeah.
That were all turned into grotesques.
Yeah. God, I love those wacky Dark Eldar with their pranks. It's like, surprise, they're grotesques. Pranked you.
Yeah.
But in regards to Craftware Eldar, I don't think there has been. Not that I can name, at least, anyway.
Yeah, I can't think of an incident of the Harlequin. I think the Harlequins will have probably know of and been influencing behind the scenes because, they're the Harlequins. I haven't seen an incidence of the Craft Worlders meeting the Tau either.
No.
Second question: has there been, as there has been whispers of Chaos Eldar? Has there?
Yeah, Ahra, the Fallen Phoenix. He said to burn with the dark light of chaos.
Oh, I didn't. I just assumed he just went completely insane. But yes, could worshipping.
He ended up summoning demons against the rest of the Phoenix Lords.
Oh, of course he did. Yes, of course he did. At the Shrine of Asur, which is why the Shrine of Asur was deserted and the Phoenix Lords were scattered in the first place. I knew that. Since there's now whispers of Chaos Eldar being a thing, could worshipping a Chaos God spare their soul from Slanesh?
Well, how I'd see it is, considering, all the Eldar souls default belong to Slanesh now anyway, because, I'm your bastard daughter, deal with it. I can imagine, if, say, an Eldar out of desperation turned to worshipping Khorne, then when that Eldar died, I can imagine it being more of a punch-up between Khorne and Slanesh going, oi, this is mine, give it here.
Yeah, because you could just imagine, particularly a shrine like the Striking Scorpions or the Incubi, becoming potentially Khorne worshippers to hone their martial skill. So I won't rule it out. It would, and I would certainly say it's not foolproof, or even Eldar proof, but not entirely impossible.
I'm just going to say yes. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Funnily enough, there actually was at least one other canon depiction of Chaos Eldar, and it was actually from. Have you ever heard of the novel Atlas Infernal?
The name rings a bell.
Basically, it's Inquisitor Chevak, and basically, well, on the cover, as you can see in the picture, it's him and basically fighting a Chaos Eldar.
So it is, yeah. I recognise that. I recognise that cover actually. Now you say it.
Inquisitor Bronislav Chevak. God love the Inquisition. Who came out of the war about 300 years younger.
Because that's the way the warp works.
Yeah. The warp.
Yeah, basically.
Hashtag.
Hashtag the warp did it. We haven't had one of those in so long. But yeah, I don't know how well you know about the warp, but basically time doesn't flow in the warp. It's all over the place.
Well, I know it's a very dangerous thing just because it can randomly just open up in areas and start tearing up the fabric of the world, and the Emperor is kind of what keeps it at bay and sort of holds the known universe together. That's my understanding of it. It's actually why I really like the Sisters of Battle, because they are so against chaos and the warp, and as far as I can know, officially have never really fallen to it.
There's no canonic Chaos Sisters, no.
Miriel Sabathiel.
I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
Now, was that actually official? Because I think I had heard of that, but I thought it was just a bunch of fans wanting Slanesh sisters.
No, she is canon.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
She's the only one, though, however.
Yeah. As far as just your understanding of how the warp works, you're not far off. It's not quite the Emperor's. The Emperor's keeping Terra from being swallowed up by.
The warp.
Is it the warp or is it the webway? It's a webway portal that's breached.
It's a webway portal that's breached, but there's actually a hole with the webway portal leaking into the warp.
Okay, so yeah, the Emperor's keeping Terra from being swallowed up by the warp, but the warp itself he's not really keeping the warp in check. He's just keeping that warp gate in check. The rest of the warp itself is just at the whims of the gods and whoever happens to be there at the time.
Now, psychic powers all come from the warp, is my understanding as well, right?
Yes.
Like they tap into that, which is part of why it's so dangerous.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, see, I know a little.
Well, don't tell it to the Space Wolves. As no, it all comes from this Fenrisian spirit. It's like, those are demons, you idiots.
Indeed. Or if you're orcs, it's just literally mob psychology.
No, orcs have the coolest lore ever, though, because the power of belief is just amazing.
The power of positivity.
Yes, they're the most optimistic race in the Warhammer 40k, right?
That's one way of looking at it, yeah. So I believe I can shoot you with this bullet, and I will. Bang.
Never mind the fact that I couldn't hit a squiggle's arse when I was standing right next to it. I'm still going to shoot you.
Rolling up dice, turns out.
So that's just my first volley.
Oh, I missed that feeling of how... Actually, I remember I wasn't playing it, but my friend threw 20 orc boys into a Wolfguard Terminator squad. Sluggers and choppers at 80 attacks. One died.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you
Well, I
going,
guess
lads?
it's still a gamble.
Right.
That was a bad moment. Okay, following up on GS3, do you think Guilliman would be open to negotiating with the Farsight Enclaves? A non-aggression pact, an alliance, or just a we don't kill you if you tell us how to build your shit? I'm mentioning Farsight since he's more reasonable than the Empire. Yes, he is.
Interesting. Because I know the Imperium will deal with Tau if it benefits them, because don't forget there's an official piece of art with, an Inquisitor and an Imperial Fist captain talking to, I think is it the Watercast? Who are the diplomats?
The Watercast are the diplomats.
So
and you have the... Sorry, go on.
So it's not unreasonable to think that Guilliman might see them as like, look, it's probably best to be on good terms with them, just so we don't have this deal with the shit in our side here where we've got to deal with the traitor legions, with the orcs, with the nids, with the crons, with the rat god, the hruds, the Tyrellian dog soldiers, whatever.
And we know that they'll fight together militaristically because there's a Caiaphas Cain novel where on the front cover he's fighting back to back with a fire warrior.
Yeah.
So I think he'll try the main empire first. But considering they don't have an Ethereal Supreme right now because Almvad's dead, fuck yes, it's going to be interesting. I think open to it, yes. Able to make it work?
Probably not.
Not so much. Because, the last time humans tried negotiating with an alien... Actually, they've never tried negotiating with an alien race. The nearest we got was the Interrex, and look how well that ended. Yeah,
but that was all Erebus's fault.
Oh yeah, completely Erebus's fault.
Fuck Erebus. But, well, that being said as well, considering the fact that, one of the people who was responsible for Guilliman coming back to life was a Xenos, Ivrain, it might soften his position on Xenos. Like, well, if it wasn't for, these guys, I wouldn't be here, so...
I know you're trying to humanize Guilliman, but don't try and humanize Guilliman.
No, but you can see what I mean.
Yeah, I think you can. If it was Sanguinius, who should stay dead for the record, then I might actually agree with that statement. But it's Guilliman.
I'm glad you brought Sanguinius up because there are people talking that Sanguinius is coming back and that Ivrain's going to bring him back to life.
Fuck right off.
She has proven that she can bring Rubrique back to life, who just piles of dust. She brought them back to life only to kill him again, and which obviously gave Azek Araman the biggest crush on her ever. It's like, I want to take her out to dinner now, just so I can get my Rubrique back, and then smash. No, anyway, but considering the fact that Sanguinius' body is still around, it's like in a
the difference though with Guilliman. She resurrected him because his soul was right there. He died and she took his soul and stuck it back in. With the Rubrique, their souls were trapped inside their armor. Sanguinius' soul is long fucking gone.
Zombie Sanguinius.
So where do souls go in this world when one dies?
in the case of the Eldar, they either go into a spirit stone or they go to Slanesh. In the case of humans, it's not so clear, but I'd assume that, well, Horus's soul was shattered when he died. So I assume that they sort of
in regards to the Primarchs, their souls go into the Emperor's body, just because there was that instance when the Emperor was fighting Dracnia and the Emperor summoned forth a psychic projection, and it was actually Ferrus Manus in that psychic projection.
That's new.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as the idea of resurrection, then, I mean, if you know, is it just a matter of knowing where the host's soul is?
I think if Rain kind of has the ability, she's kind of like a harvester of souls, for want of a better word, or that's Margan Ra's nickname, but anyway. She seems to be... Yeah. So she seems to be able to claim the souls of dead Eldar, or in this case Primarchs, and put them into a new body, or in Guilliman's case, the old one. So if she got an audience with the Emperor, which she won't, and they do go to the Emperor, as Remlay says, it's not impossible, but Sanguinius being dead makes more sense for the plot because the Black Rage and the Red Thirst just make more sense, so please leave him fucking dead. Sorry, that is, I think, my biggest bugbear. Just leave him dead.
Tell me how you really feel.
That means we won't get our cyborg Ferrus Manus back either. Damn it!
I'm alright with this.
I think, fun enough, I think Ferrus Manus is the Primarch everyone overlooks anyway. It's like, yeah, the Primarchs, and there was that Ferrus Manus guy because he died.
Khan. That's Jagtai Khan. I always forget Jagtai Khan exists. I'm bad for it, but I always forget he exists.
He was still better than Lorgar.
At least Lorgar was at least memorable for something.
Fucking up, yeah.
Even if it was fucking up, yeah.
That being said, I saw one thing in regards to like who should play Lorgar if there ever was a movie, and someone put Billy Zane, and then compared the picture of him from the Horus Heresy books, like the actual rule books, and I was like, oh my god, he's a fucking spitting image Billy Zane shaved bald. I was like, bloody hell.
Huh. Yeah, he could do it. I don't know what a Warhammer 40k book, or I'm sorry, movie would look like, because the books are always so dark and gritty. I don't know how well it translates.
Well, we saw how that Ultramarines movie turned out.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty... It felt like a very ineffectual movie, though, in general.
The only good thing about that film was John Hurt.
Indeed.
It's just not memorable. Because you need a big hero character, I think, if you were to do a movie, and everybody in 40k just seems too messed up.
Yeah, the nearest thing to a hero character you have is your Guillimans and your Sanguiniuses. Like, if you to do it in 40k, you can't unless you want to make it super gritty and follow the guard. But then you lose the super badass action hero because that doesn't make sense in the context of the guard. So you need the starters.
Actually, no, Commissar Yarrick. Remember, he had his arm cut off, and he just basically went, "Fuck you," and cut off that orc's head. You know, even though.
And then passed out.
Only after the orcs buggered off, and he was like, "Right, I can pass out now."
Yeah, absolutely, that's very true.
And considering he was an old man when he did that, that's badass.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a few characters you could do it with. A Yarrick, a Strachan, even a Gaunt or a Kane.
Slime Arbo. Slime Arbo the movie, it's just an hour and a half of explosions.
Yeah. There you go. I had a friend who played guard and would do that all the time.
Indeed. But yeah, I think a Horus Heresy movie would be ridiculously hard to do because, not because the people who you'd have to cast wouldn't be good enough, but everyone has their preconceptions of who the Primarchs are by now.
It's a very old history at this point. So.
It is, but they're still expanding. Like Angron. Angron is incredibly some people. There's two ways you can portray Angron, depending on how you want to do it. Because Angron to some is just kill, maim, burn on legs. To other people, Angron is incredibly tragic, incredibly deep, incredibly complex, whilst also being kill, maim, burn on legs. So I can't really put it any differently. But it's really hard to portray them because for every one person sees a Primarch one way, some see him the other way. Some people see Guilliman as a tactical genius. Some people see him as an arsehole. Not many people hate Sanguinius, but I can sort of see it perhaps why
a pretty boy.
Yeah, Korax. Some people think
No, you're
Korax.
right. What they'd have to do for a movie then is just to make a new character who interacts with and on a very hands-off, arm's-length level with the major interesting characters of the world.
Yeah, it would have to be extremely hands-off.
In fairness, you probably could get away with if you focused as the main character someone like Garviel Loken or Nathaniel Garrow.
Yeah, you couldn't you couldn't make the Primarchs be the focus. It would have to be Garrow.
Yeah, they're too legendary.
Garrow would actually be a really good one because you can weave Garrow, Loken kind of together because they're together at Istvan and then they break and then they're back again at Istvan before they go on to Molech. That would be an interesting plot line to follow.
Mm.
Now the question is, can we squish Saint Celestine in there?
No.
Learning everything.
She didn't turn up until like M30. No, hang on. No, Saint Sabbath was M36.
Oh, right.
I think. Hang on. I'll check.
I'm going to say.
Let me check. I did a Living Saints video at some point. I just need to find the goddamn thing. Hang on. I did it before my Legion series. No wonder I can't find it. Saint Celestine. Saint Celestine, we don't actually know when she turned up.
So she fits.
Saint Sabbath was M36, but Celestine was a sister, and the sororities were only created in M36, so she kind of has to be M36 or later.
Okay. Whereas the other guys are probably earlier.
Yeah, Garrow's M30. The Heresy was M31, so you're about 5,000 years too late.
I guess they don't quite live that long.
No, certainly not.
Yeah, I know Dante is particularly long. He's like 1400 at this point, and the Blood Angels are particularly long-lived. But were the Primarchs, as far as like aging and stuff goes, functionally immortal?
Yeah,
because I know.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were just 10,000 year lifespans, while most Marines were maybe 1 to 1,000 or 100 to 1,000.
I thought they lived hundreds of years, but not thousands.
Let's put it this way. Lionel Johnson's still sleeping in the rock. He's not in stasis, he's just sleeping.
Very true.
And he's still alive. Confirmed.
Yeah.
Even though, he's going to be pissed off when he wakes up. Because, Guilliman woke up first? Fuck. What do you mean Cypher's still around? Fuck.
To be fair, no, Johnson has been out longer than Guilliman, so Johnson wouldn't really know any different. Johnson was, of the Loyalists, he was, apart from Manus other than Sanguinius, he was the first one out of the surviving Loyalists.
Oh, yeah. When he ended up fighting Luther, the real Loyalist. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so when Johnson wakes up, he's gonna be pissed. I don't disagree. Actually, I'd be really curious because the Fallen didn't exist when Johnson was around, so it'd be interesting when Johnson wakes up and he gets briefed by Azrael about what the situation is. Are you fucking serious? That could be fun.
Boom! You just name the next video game.
That's really good. What the fuck is a Fallen? Well, he's got his nose covered in cocaine.
Oh Lord!
Well,
I thought they weren't affected by those things.
He's doing a whole lot of cocaine. He's got a mindset back in the 1980s, where everyone was on cocaine doing business deals.
So he just sort of cleaned out Hollywood and...
He cleaned out what was left of the planet.
Pretty much.
It's I see you've already painted your armor white. It's beneficial as being part of Deathwind. It's paint? No, it's just cocaine dust.
Oh, dear. Actually, no, he'll be pissed because they changed the bloody paint job, isn't he? He'll just be annoyed with that.
He'll be like, who painted my helmet?
Green of all colours. That was fucking Vulcan. We all know he was boring.
He wasn't that boring. He was just a nice guy.
Yeah, true.
And in fact, he did, jump out of a spaceship and plummet into McCrack's surface, naked, and then just reconstitute his paste-like body into a form. I was like, hello, I'm Vulcan. I'm also
a
mad
petrol.
now.
Yeah, I'm a petrol, I'm a plot hole.
And now I'm going to tackle Comrade Kurz out this window. True story.
Sounds cool.
I'm looking forward to Vulcan's lore video and just seeing how that all pans out.
I'm still confused at how the hell he managed to resurrect himself at the end of Deathfire, because it was that Salamandra just goes off into the desert. It's like, well, I'm gonna die here. Falls over. Landspeeder goes looking for him. It's like, oh, it's Vulcan. Where the hell did you come from? We last saw you going into a volcano. We threw your body into the volcano, and yet you're here now. What the hell happened?
The guy's been nuked and dropped in through an atmosphere from orbit. At this point, just stop questioning it.
I know, but this was after he got stabbed with the fulgurite and basically, died.
True.
Because he didn't resurrect himself 10 minutes later. It was like, several months.
Yeah, actually, you're right. You are right.
Where he had a single heartbeat in that time, and I was just like, huh, did I hear something? No. I must have been dreaming it. I fell asleep.
It was all a dream.
Oh, have you seen the teaser thumbnail, the Alpha Power for episode 25? Vulcan and Korax are in it.
Yes, I've already read the script.
Fuck you.
I'm just surprised about one of the characters who does make an appearance. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to say there's a very, very old character in law who makes an appearance. Which can meet literally
curious.
Anybody.
Yeah, literally anybody.
And no, it's not Sigmar.
Thank fuck.
Hey, you saw my story. It was awesome.
Actually, I had a French exam that day. I kind of skipped it.
Oh.
Hey, I sat through the entire Theoreticus Heresy and commented on practically every single one. Cut me some slack.
But still, oh. Right,
to be
next
fair,
question.
Yeah, anyway. Why are the Kroot so much more interesting than the Tau?
Because they're the predator, essentially.
Is their social structure the same? Because Tau are basically like communists, aren't they?
The Kroot social structure is if you get in our way, if you get in our way, we're going to eat you and evolve your traits. Their society is kind of shamanistic, led by it's their sort of appearance. They're more complex than they're given credit for, but they're not exactly super high tech. Although some believe that that's them just hiding it, so as they don't get picked on.
Oh, okay. So very tribal in nature.
They're also oppressed by the Tau. They're oppressed.
They look freaking cool. I think they look cooler than Tau.
You say they're oppressed by the Tau, and yet they hire themselves out as mercenaries all the time without telling the Tau. So they can't be that oppressed.
Yes, but the Tau said, you can't eat this, and Kroot were like, fuck you, I want to eat that. You can't eat it, but I want to eat it. It looks delicious. No, you can't eat that, Charlie.
The only thing that the Tau... Actually, I'll put it a different way. The Kroot are not allowed to eat 4 things. Tyranids, because it all went horribly wrong. Necrons, because it all went horribly wrong. Chaos-corrupted humans, and Tau.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, if they have to pick up the traits of whatever they eat, I think it actually does make sense to sanction their food.
Yeah, but you can also make the argument that the Tau are preventing them from evolving into a newer species and a more powerful strain that could potentially overthrow the Tau.
Well, yes. So, I mean, that also makes sense for the Tau to do that, then.
I'd like to see what happened if they try and eat some crud. Considering they kill everything they touch. It's like, right, I can kill everything I touch now.
Yeah, because the way it works is the Shapers, who are like their sergeants, basically they will assumedly eat first and evaluate all the traits, and then just shuffle the good ones in, and then filter out the bad ones, and then basically say dig in.
They eat the good and poop the bad.
For want of a better word.
The Shapers actually pick the traits, but the other ones are just sort of stuck with whatever they eat.
I think it's more the case of it's kind of like I'm trying to make a nature analogy to a pack of lions. The lion, or in nature's the lions, the lion always eats first. So the Shapers will go in, evaluate what trait, either through some clever internal analysis or just by eating it and seeing what the hell they can find. Because
tasting it like a fine wine.
Well, a lot of Kroot DNA is actually blank, so it's not like they have to replace anything. A lot of their DNA matrix is actually blank, so they just literally, almost. So they can go, no, not stem cells, because stem cells can evolve into anything. It's literally there's nothing there, and they can just shuffle in whatever traits they find. So the Shapers assumedly will either eat first or somehow analyze the traits they could inherit and decide whether it's worth doing, to balance up the good and the bad, rather than get rid of the bad and keep in the good, and then dinner is served.
Oh, okay. And can those traits ever be replaced, or is it just this large stack of traits that you eventually get?
I assume it's kind of like human evolution or general evolution, where slightly less desirable traits will be filtered out over breeding and other generations. For example, let's say you eat a human psyker, a level 1 psyker for humans, and you inherit a modicum of psychic ability, and then you consume an Eldar Farseer. Well, you're just going to shuffle out that psychic trait and add in another, I assume.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know all the inner workings of Kroot DNA, but I assume that it's either once they've shuffled something and they can't then shuffle it out, and so have to breed a new Kroot and pass on some good traits, and then maybe the slightly less good ones they've picked up along the way, they leave out. But that would also imply that the Kroot DNA will eventually fill up. I don't honestly know. There's not enough detail on them in the lore, but I think I just explained why Kroot are more interesting than the Tau.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there we go. Next question.
Who is the next Primarch to return?
Well, it's Mortarion.
Yes, this was before the Mortarion leak. Okay, after Mortarion.
If we're talking loyalists, I'm still hoping if that quote unquote leak of that new expansion, the Hunt, is true, then it'll end up being Lionel Johnson. But it depends if that's true or not, so take it with a grain of salt.
Well, I mean, Warzone Venomous didn't give us Russ; it gave us Magnus. But I mean, to be fair, like things like Traitor's Hate and Angel's Bane, they could work it either way. So the Hunt might introduce, the Hunt would probably lead to Johnson. Personally, I'd kind of like to see Khan or maybe even Korax back, not for any other reason than, well, it's something different. Yeah, be relevant.
Now, why would it be a loyalist returning instead of a traitor?
Because Mortarion's a traitor and Magnus is a traitor, so they're back. Guilliman's a loyalist, so it makes sense just for balance sake to bring out back another loyalist.
Mm.
And then Games Workshop screws everyone as a surprise. It's Perturabo! It's like, oh, bollocks.
And then they're just like, no, and then they say, it's Alfarius, he's available for both sides.
Hey, one's Alfarius, one's Omegon. He came back from the dead, somehow.
Twice.
Well, apparently this happens.
Yeah.
Only if you're Vulcan, because you're a perpetual. Alfarius was more like, I can make anybody look like me if they consume a little bit of my blood or something.
I'm Alfarius. Yes, you are. I'm also Alfarius. Yes, you are. I'm Omegon. Who?
Pretty much.
Next question.
Okay. This is mainly for Michael and Remlays. What would both of you say about someone getting Guilliman's model, but giving him a Genestealer Patriarch's head with an Emperor's Children colour scheme?
That sounds awesome. Do it and post pictures.
Yes, tweet that at us when you get chance. Okay. This is an interesting one. This is, again, kind of about Gathering Storm. Is Guilliman a psyker that can see the future, or WTF? Was the armor for the Emperor originally? Because like the Armor of Fate, Core was tasked with building it 10,000 years ago. Why? Did Guilliman know he was going to die or something and needed a complex life support suite?
Maybe he started doing it originally for Sanguinius. Explain why it's got wings on the back of it. We're back there again.
Indeed. I don't know. It's an interesting one, actually, I think.
So why is his armor so special? I'm just going to put it down. I don't know anything.
Okay, so when... I don't know if you've kept up with the Gathering Storm series, but when Ivrain, Celestine, and co. all got to Macragge, after shouting down Marnia's Calgar, Belisarius Cawl turned off Guilliman's stasis pod, and Guilliman died. And Ivrain resurrected him, like we talked about earlier with the whole soul business, and they shot him inside this reliquary, this like big, I want to say big magic box. It wasn't really a big magic box, but you get my point. Sure. And then Guilliman was alive again, only kept alive because of his armor, which is the Armor of Fate. And so they're asking, why does the Armor of Fate exist when Core was specifically tasked 10,000 years ago to build it by Guilliman?
Essentially,
that does sound kind of psychic.
Essentially, his
Guilliman's
armor's
one of
like,
the least psychic.
I like to imagine his armor as like, in Iron Man when Tony Stark puts the Iron Man suit on. It was just basically like that. It just starts crawling up on his body and clink, 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 clink.
Just with more servo skulls and more praying.
Yes.
Oh, I know. Gotta decorate it, right?
Yeah, but
so they shut off his life support system in the beginning. Why was he he needed that to begin with? How old is he?
Okay, in M31-2-ish, after the Horus Heresy, Fulgrim, the traitor Primarch of the Emperor's Children, stabbed Guilliman in the neck with a poisoned blade, and he was like 1 second from death when they trapped him in stasis.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So he wasn't on life support, he was literally just frozen in time. Nearly. Actually, did we actually get confirm or deny whether he was healing in stasis?
No. We will never know. That just annoyed me when I put that video up for like 3-4 months ago. Is he healing in stasis? And then he comes back and it's like people are like, I don't know. We will never know. It's like,
fuck. Yeah. Basically, yep. So yeah, the thing is, Guilliman's one of the weakest of the Primarchs in terms of psychic potential. Like, he's got one of the lowest psychic potentials of the Primarchs, for what that's worth.
Huh.
So, I don't know, honestly, is the answer to your question. I don't know.
That's fair.
Because
this is interesting.
If he was making the arm for 10,000 years, why was it ultramarine blue, a big ultramarine symbol on the end of it?
Indeed. And the other thing is, Cole said, I think in a little narrative trailer for Gathering Storm, 10,000 years ago, I was set... Did he say something like there's 2 tasks?
I was set a task to... Usually you set a task.
I thought it was like he was set 2, failed 1, and was going to complete the other, or I made 2 promises and now I can honour the first, or something. I could be misremembering completely.
I don't know.
Okay. With Huron Blackheart now in possession of a Blackstone fortress, thanks to Abaddon being his new BFF, what's he going to do with it?
Throw a whole bunch of parties. And start going, yar, har, fiddly dee, being a pirate is alright with me.
I was going to go with fuck shit up, but sure.
Well, he's got to get drunk first before he fucks shit up. He's a pirate. He's even got his little parrot, hasn't he? The Hamadria.
The Hamadria. Yeah, his little warp parrot, the Hamadria, that makes him a psycho.
Parrot?
Well, yeah, it's a being formed from the warp itself. It's kind of like a mini demon.
I thought it was just a parrot that could just travel in and out as it pleased. Like, obviously going to bring about the destruction of the universe.
Well, if you do get crocodiles that can travel in and out of the warp as they please.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of wild, less sentient things that can do that.
Yeah. There's also psychic cats. Big and small.
Psychic cats?
Yeah. I mean, you got the Gyrinx, which Ivrain has one of them, little weird blue cats that are psychic, and which is actually her familiar. And you've also got the fear cats, which are basically giant psychic tigers.
Oh, interesting.
Remind me never to go and find one of those.
Oh, and they're also poisonous as well.
Of course.
Double the reason in that case.
So, I mean, do we know where they come from? Were they created by the warp, or in the warp, or born of it?
They were born in the material realm as far as we're aware. I mean, the Fear Cat, for example, lives on the death world known as Fear, surprisingly enough, which is also a penal colony.
Kel surprise.
And as far as the Crotalids, which are the psychic crocodiles, they've just always been there. They just travel from world to world in the warp to eat everything on the planet. They're like little crocodile tyrannids.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the humans evolving their psychic traits was it evolution or was it just spontaneous magic?
It was evolution.
Yeah, so we evolved it. Why couldn't something else?
Certainly.
Psychic
Although it
crocodiles.
doesn't, but they just stay wild. They're not used as tools by anyone save the occasional familiar.
Exactly.
Seemingly. Now, can we have Psychic Tau, please?
No.
Oh, come on. You know it would be hilarious.
How would that even work? They barely register in the warp. It's like a little blip.
Evolution.
It would take at least another 10,000 years.
Or make it like the biotics in Mass Effect, where they have implants that boost their psychic potential up.
I don't know if I saw that piece of art with like this Tau Psyker. Literally had like a whole bunch of heads and jars on his back, and he was like had like a gun to shoot psychic powers with.
Oh my
What?
gosh.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, like this gun had like tube connected to these like psychic heads in jars. It was like a human, an Eldar, and some other psychic species in these little jars. And he was just shooting psychic lightning out with his little pistol.
Grimdark. Fucking grimdark, man. Right. If you could bring back or retcon a character, who would it be?
Apparently Guilliman? No, who's the one who keeps reconstituting himself?
Vulcan.
Oh, Vulcan.
There
I
you go.
wouldn't want to retcon Vulcan. I'd retcon him being a perpetual, but I wouldn't want to retcon Vulcan.
I hate the whole perpetual concept. It just kind of like, oh god, really? This guy's immortal? Really?
Yay.
It just... I would actually retcon... No, I'll tell you what, I would bring back Ilian Nastase, but I would retcon him being half Eldar. I'd say it was just slurs, and he wants revenge from people saying he was half Xenos, and that offends his honor as an Ultramarine.
But love can bloom. I'm sorry, that's Alexis.
I expected that from Alexis, not you.
Well, someone had to do it. She's not here.
Yeah. Well, because she's not here, I'm going to do the hashtag HiveShipSex. There we go.
Fuck you.
Hey, we haven't done that in many episodes.
Yes, I was hoping you'd all forget.
I'm still waiting for
I'm
that
sorry,
visual
you said
outline.
hive ship sex? What?
It's a long
God.
running joke, don't worry about it.
It's a long running joke because I think someone like episode 1 or 2 asked a question about hive ships and how the hive ships are
they're
made.
created, yeah, considering that all the nid organisms are made within hive ships, and hive ships themselves are organisms. How are the hive ships made? Do they have sex? That's basically how it came about.
Yes,
Oh.
it has become my pet hate hashtag.
I thought that was pinecone testicle.
That's just weird.
I don't even know
Well,
how that
there's
started.
nothing weird in 40k lore, guys. I mean, so don't get too crazy there.
A valid point.
True.
Right, next question.
Okay. Scroll up. Would you want a new Xeno race added to the game? If so, then, and if so, what sort of Xenos race would you like? Because honestly,
I would rather them expand on some of the minor Xenos races they actually have, like things like the Rakgol or the Tyrellians or the Hruds. I'd rather see them
or
expand.
the Tau Auxiliaries entirely.
I mean, have an entire Vespid army list, for example.
Yeah.
But
how well known is the universe? How well explored is it? Because it seems like it would be a very vast change to have a new Xenos just appear.
Well, as far as within the Imperium, the universe is pretty well explored. But the lore at the moment regarding, I use the Tau as my example. The Tau Auxiliaries, there's 15 of them, and some of them we know nothing about. We know literally their names, and that's it.
Oh.
So there's potential for them to maybe not make a standalone empire because the galaxy is fully mapped out, and to bring in another extragalactic race is kind of weird because we already have the Tyranids. But in terms of a minor race popping up on a world or in a system, not impossible, particularly in Tau space.
Considering that 3rd edition introduced Dark Eldar and 4th edition introduced Tau, it's not that far.
And the Necrons who was introduced, the Tau and Necrons and Dark Eldar were all 3rd edition, I believe.
The Necrons were actually 2nd edition. They just never got a codex, but they were introduced there. They actually had rules in White Dwarf magazine.
Oh right, okay.
Because I remember when White Dwarf, it was back in 1998, White Dwarf magazine, a brand new race of 40k Necrons. Here's a free model. Back when they looked exactly like Chaos Androids from Space Crusade, but with an Egyptian necklace.
Yeah, Necrons seem pretty cool. Aesthetically, anyway.
I just miss them being Space Terminators, now they're just Space Tomb Kings. I'm still not a fan of that. I prefer the Space Terminators.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a different enough look, I guess. So then you'd probably just, if they did make a new one, it would have to be a minor species, and you feel that we already have enough of them?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Because if you look at the whole list of races that have been introduced in things such as the RPG books, for example, or even mentioned in the rule books, because the 3rd edition rule book alone, that introduced the Kroots, that introduced the Tyrellian dog soldiers, the Hrud. You know, so that was 3 races. I mean, and out of all of them, only the Kroot got models. You know, and that was like back in 3.5 edition.
Yeah, the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, I think...
No, it was like early 2002 they got models, I think. Because late 90s was 2nd edition still.
Yeah. Really? I thought 4th edition was 2004. So, and I thought 3rd edition was like...
3rd edition was 1999, I think. And then, 3.5, which was like... When did that Fire Warrior game come out? That was 2000 and something.
I don't know.
Oh, God, what was it? Fire Warrior, that came out in 2003. And that was like literally when the tile first got released.
Okay. So yeah, my answer basically is... Yes, if they are to introduce a new race, it must be a small one, because otherwise the Imperium would have crushed it by now, or at least we'd know of it in decent numbers by now. But no, we don't have to just do it as an expansion, but they could easily do it as an expansion. It'll work both ways. For me, I would prefer, my first call would be a Tau Auxiliaries Codex, standalone. Kroot, Vespid, Gave Acer, the full works, and make that a standalone book to give every race a little bit of love, and then if you want a new race, build them in slowly.
Or maybe something similar, just like Codex Mercenaries, like Dogs of War 40k edition.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way you can add some nice, orc freebooter units to, Imperial Guard armies, for example.
Yep.
Nice.
Sanctioned
question. Yeah. Question for Remlays from the Omnisire. When are you going to let me out of the labyrinth? Also, have the others devoured the stars yet?
Get back in your box.
Okay. What will Games Workshop do next after Gathering Storm? Will the next arc involve, say, orks, tyranids, Tau, and the Imperium? And will they bring back Warhammer Monthly?
I doubt they'll bring back Warhammer Monthly, even though I would like them to, because that shit was awesome. In regards to the next race, who hasn't actually been focused on for a while? I think the
orks have gone quiet.
Yeah.
The orks have been very quiet, because if I go back to like campaign books, we had Gathering Storm, we had Warzone Fenris, Traitor Satan Angel's Blade, we had Warzone Damocles, which gave the Tau a bit more lore. Nothing really much for them apart from like some formations and some new lore. Before that, I think you're going back to Stormclaw and like Siege of and the Storm of, and what is it? The Baal thingamajig with the Cryptus system, Shield of Baal.
Sorry. Oh yeah, with the Nids now, yeah. So it probably might end up being something to do with the Necrons.
The Necrons were in Shield of Baal as well. Yeah, the Mefrit dynasty showed up a lot, and I think a transcendent.
Oh, is that when they end up having like, hey, Blood Angels, can we help you fight the Tyranids? Sure, yay! Cool.
Yeah, it's when the Necrons and Space Marines work together without a Matt Ward moment.
Oh god, that was dumb.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I think
orcs then.
Yeah, I'd love it to be orcs, or I mean, the Eldar have had plenty. Leave them alone. Yeah, orcs and Nids are the most likely. But as far as like giving them big heroes, like it's kind of harder to do to give them a triumvirate or big heroes to follow. Besides, well, Ghazghkull really.
Well, not really, because Ghazghkull hasn't had a new model since 3rd edition. So, and considering that he's meant to be a big orc and he's not really that big compared to them. So, I mean, for an orc triumvirate, you could have Ghazghkull, you could have Grotsnik, and maybe Wazdaka.
Orchimedes.
Oh, is he still alive? I thought he was dead.
Orchimedes, I believe he's still around. He's still constantly tinkering with his super gun that has random effects every different game.
Oh,
and Wazdaka is going in a completely different direction. Like, he's kind of seemingly heading
maybe
west.
Nazdrag, then, considering that him and Ghazghkull have worked together before.
Yeah, Nazdrag, I think, is still back on Piscina 4. He may well be dead, actually, because if the Dark Angels won on Piscina 4, then Nazdrag will probably either be dead or running for it.
He's probably running for it, considering the fact that that was the world that him and Ghazghkull invaded.
Yeah, so you've got, like, there are characters there, but there's no, like, big centerpiece like the the Avatar of Inaid, or like Celestine.
I knew Ghazghkull could be, in fairness, if they just do it like true scale, that could be the big centerpiece model. Make him really big and...
Yeah, you can make him make like nearly Primarch size, but that's about as far as you could go. Yeah, orcs and tyranids, I think, are the most likely, followed closely by Necrons. Tau will be later because they had Damocles.
Yeah. What other races are there? Was that because Eldar just came up in Gathering Storm, didn't they?
Yeah, and the Imperiums had plenty of love. Chaos actually didn't... plot-wise, Chaos got a lot, but in terms of rules, they got nothing. But then they had Wrath of Magnus quite recently and Traitor Legion, so...
Focusing on like White Scars and someone, for example, considering White Scars haven't had anything ever. Or is that the Iron Hands who'd never had anything? It's one of the two.
The Iron Hands got Clan Rorcan as a supplement.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The White Scars. The only time I've seen White Scars be central to any plot was when they introduced the Storm Talon. Like the plot that introduced the Storm Talon, the Doom Scythe, and the Daka Jet centered on the White Scars. That's it.
And how long ago was that now?
That was in 6th edition when Flyers were... No, this was before Flyers were even a thing. So it would have been... It'd have been late 5th, early 6th, I think.
So what, 2000 and...
Oh, no, it'd have been... I think it was 6th. Because the Razorwing Jet Fighter was the first Flyer, quote-unquote. But it was before the 7th... It was before 7th, because the Dark Eldar Codex hadn't been redone. So yeah, it was mid-6th edition, so like 2014... I think 2013, 2014.
So they're probably due for something. Because Raven Guard were Damocles, weren't they? So.
Yeah, the Raven Guard lost their chapter master in Damocles. Haha.
An embarrassment. Dying to a tower. God.
Bear in mind that an entire execution force failed to kill Shadow Sun and Farsight.
I know, embarrassing.
To be fair, Farsight only survived because Bravestorm's just a walking tank, but hey, not complaining.
Right, next question.
Have we got any other podcast guests lined up? Well, we've got one on now. Does that count?
Hello.
I think that counts.
That counts. Okay.
Question answered.
Yeah. Can you have Terminators dual-wielding storm bolters and/or assault marines dual-wielding chainswords? In the game, no. In the fluff, fuck yes.
In 2nd edition, you could have assault marines dual-wielding chainswords. You can have them dual-wielding power swords. You can have them dual-wielding power fists.
Well, I know Nasir Amit was dual-wielding chain fists on his Terminator armor for a while.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So.
Yeah, I don't think that would be really good for the game, though, would it?
Depends whose side you're on.
Yeah.
Oh right, balance. That's a tertiary.
Yeah.
Fuck balance. We've got Genestealer cults.
Don't remind me about Genestealer cults. I hate them. They're teleporting bullshit. You can't beat them in TAC Ops. You can't, because they just teleport. And I run Battlesuit Tau. I'm fast, and I can't catch the bastards.
Anyway.
Sorry. Anyway, if you could capture and enslave, quote-unquote, a Black Library author to write you a 40k story, what kind of story would you have them write?
Would it be of the Ordo Theoreticus?
Oh.
Mm.
Can we get Aaron Dembski-Bone to write a slash fiction? Have him do some shipping.
Well, I mean, the running joke about Celestine and Greyfax, don't tempt them.
No, it'd be more Love Can Bloom. it'd be the love story between Caiaphas Cain and Shadow Sun. With Kitten getting jealous. And at the end he just screams, There's no fucking canon! They have author's note at the end. Author's note, yes it is.
Please no.
Yeah, I don't really associate romance with the 40k or the Black Library, I should say. But should you? Is that really the direction they need to go now?
I'm quite happy for the Grimdark to stay.
Yeah, stay Grimdark. Things
Yeah.
to stay to the imagination.
Well, actually no, I'm not going to say it. That'd probably be a bit too disgusting, but anyway. Moving on.
Oh god. Right. 2-part question. Firstly, do you think we'll get another series before 8th edition? So we'll get another trilogy or series of plot books before we get the next edition of the rules, which we pretty much are probably getting very, very soon.
Yes. If the hunt leaks are true, then yes we are.
Okay. Secondly, how do you think 8th edition... they've got too many question words in there. Do you think 8th edition will be similar to 3rd edition or be a more streamlined... This was before the leaks, by the way. Will be similar to 3rd edition or be a more streamlined affair like AOS? Again, I'm talking about AOS later. But you keep... a lot of people have joined 2nd edition parallels, haven't they?
Yeah. Just for the whole thing, like, save modifiers and having a movement stat.
As long as it's not Hero Hammer.
Hero Hammer. It's a hero.
With a hammer.
Yes. And his name is Sigmar. Hey-oh.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
Is that all the questions?
Oh, no, sorry. That is a question for Alexis, so I can't ask that here. If you were contacted by Tzeentch and told he's altering the universe to make a Primarch of your choice not only alive again, assuming they're dead, but also your best friend, who would it be? Skip?
Bring back Comrade Kurz. It'd be nice to have a psychopathic bastard as your best friend so you can get him to do shit for you.
I mean, if he's a psychopath, how do you know that he'll be your friend?
Well, Tzeentch will brainwash him to make him my friend.
Oh man, that sounds like a dangerous proposition.
Besides, Comrade Kurz is literally like evil space Batman. I mean, who wouldn't want to have Batman as their best friend?
Who wouldn't want to have? You can't shape it that way. That's a good argument. Comrade Curse. So you'd have a traitor one, huh?
Yeah.
Well, there's an argument. I may have a bias right now, but someone like Magnus and because Perturabo was the genius with technology and science, which would kind of be useful right now. But then Magnus bias.
I've seen a lot of people saying that Perturabo was actually autistic.
Maybe. Yeah. I wouldn't want to confirm or deny that. I really wouldn't. But it's not impossible. Because the thing is, it wasn't that he kept a distance from everyone. It's everyone kept a distance from him. Like, he shunned his adopted father on Olympia. But that was about it. Like, with the other Primarchs, it's not really safe. Because he was good friends with Magnus. Seemingly. The two seem to get on quite well.
Yeah.
So neither of you would want Vulcan?
No, I could do without Mr. Nice Guy.
But he's immortal. Like, he would have him forever.
Until you die.
Well, but maybe he can find a way to reconstitute you too.
Perpetual is... No, just no, get rid of Perpetuals.
I'm going to get myself kicked off this podcast before I know it.
Oh, trust me, we've had more interesting in quotation mark conversations with guests.
You're talking about Fresh and Carl, aren't you?
Yep. Pretty much.
Oh, we love you guys, don't worry.
Yeah, we do. It was really good fun. It's just it was an interesting one to listen back to.
Nice.
Okay, that one I answered that at the time. That was just aimed at me. That's who's the next Primarch, yada yada yada. Also, apparently in the book Scars, Jagtai makes a comment that if he and Fulgrim had a fight, Jagtai would win. Agree or disagree?
Well, considering the fact that Jagatai's entire combat style was basically like, don't be a flashy git, just get the job done. And Fulgrim was, a lot more elaborate and fancy. I think Jagatai will just watch Fulgrim do his little pirouettes and spins and just punch him in the face.
Indiana Jones style.
Pretty much. Jagatai Khan is Indiana Jones.
Please tell me you get that reference.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I know Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah, you know what we're making reference to with that joke.
I do not.
Okay, when the first Indiana Jones movie, Indiana gets stuck in a fight with a guy with a sword.
Oh, no. Yeah, when he was actually sick, the actor. Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
That one I get. It's just all the 40k stuff is hard to keep up with because there are like 8,000 books.
Lexicanum. That's all I'm going to say. Right. Do you think it's possible that the Ethereals got their hands on an STC and that's part of the reason the tower technology advanced so fast?
I will be doing a video about this in the future.
Fine.
Next.
Could the Lost, whoever they are, maybe, be a warp-mutated half-breed legion? Hear me out on this, to quote Alexis. What if the two legions who were wiped from history were and are used for the Golden Throne? One legion being able to channel a small version of the hive mind to control the other who were... No, okay, yeah, stop. Never mind.
That sounds very...
I was giving you the time of day and then you got into... No, sorry. There was an interesting idea.
You will be assimilated.
There was an interesting idea somewhere there, and then it just got lost. Sorry.
How appropriate! The Lost. Hey.
Nice.
God damn it. I recall reading somewhere that the Kroot are hiding their true capabilities. They are. Like their war spheres having warp drives and specialty for finding habitable planets, or how they live in a primitive-looking society but have underground factories and the ability to make spaceships like the war spheres. We talked about that earlier. Basically, what I'm getting at is, Remlays, when are you doing a Kroot video? Or if a Kroot video isn't the making, could you guys discuss how the Kroot could successfully rebel against the Tau and the benefits of om-nom-nomming various Tau casts?
I have got a Kroot video on my list of topics. I just find out what page it's on. It's on page 4 of my 7-page list. So it'll be
about 2 years then.
It'll be some point in the next 2 years.
You have a 7-page list of all the videos you're going to make?
Yep.
Good lord, man.
I've planned out the next 10 weeks.
And Alexis had a sticky note.
Yeah,
Mine's in my head.
That's me.
Actually, no. I've planned out the next 20 weeks, and mine's all stored in my head. But yeah, we talked about the Kroot capabilities earlier, but just to quickly follow up. Kroot successfully rebelling against the Tau. They don't have the holdings to do it, I don't think. I don't think there's enough to overrun enough of the Firecast fast enough. I don't think.
They're being oppressed. Hashtag free the Kroot.
Given what you've described in here about Kroots, they might be able to pull something out. Don't know what.
They end up eating those poisonous psychic cats.
There you go. Turns out that those cats are only loyal to Kroots. There you go.
Okay.
Kroot cats.
Are the Primarchs gods in their own right with the shrine to Guilliman and all that? No, they're demigods, really.
Yeah, I was going to say demi, right?
Yeah. They're essentially all space Hercules.
That's for Alexis. Could the Doom of Malantai or some other type of future tyranid absorb the energy of a dead/banished demon?
I'd say potentially there will probably at least a one-off mutation at the very least, similar to how the Doom of Malantai was a one-off mutation initially that was able to eat souls, and then the Highborn realised, actually, this is kind of useful, we'll make more of this.
And it's never shown up since.
No, they became the, Neurothropes.
Oh yeah, the Neurothropes. You're right.
That's literally the Doom of Malantai mass-produced.
Oh yeah, I think I know that. I knew that. Yeah, sorry.
So there's nothing saying that in the future you might have in game terms it'll probably start as a special character.
Yeah, I mean with the Eldar though, that was consuming souls rather than the essence of a demon. The only way to get the essence of a demon would be to actually kill it, and actually killing it is bit of hard.
Don't forget what are demons made of? Warp energy.
Yeah, but
so you could potentially have a creature that would have mutated to be able to consume raw warp energy.
I suppose it's not impossible.
And eating demons would just be more of a side effect that'd be beneficial to the Tyranid race.
Yeah, so we'll say it's not impossible. I think is a good answer to that.
Yeah.
To Michael, since you mentioned dwarves and fantasy, how many entries are there in your book of grudges? I don't have one. Do you want another FMV Warhammer game? And if so, what kind of game should it be, and who would you cast in the different roles?
I'll tell you what I would like for a Warhammer game. I would like one done by Telltale Games. Have like one of those type of games.
Where your choices matter but don't actually matter?
Well, yeah, because Telltale, they recently got the license to do a Guardians of the Galaxy game, which looks fucking awesome.
And they did Batman.
Yeah, which was good. And they did Walking Dead, which was good. Tales from Borderlands, which was really good. Game of Thrones, which was good. And so, one based in the 40k universe would actually, I can imagine being really good, especially coming up with like alternate storyline potentially as well. Like you could have one. Like, especially if they got like someone from Black Library helping to write it.
Yeah, the problem that Telltale seems to have potentially had, particularly, is that the choices matter but don't matter. Like, you always end up in the same places anyway, and it's like minor consequences on the overarching plot. I think that's something that's been leveled at them in the past, and
I think it's more prominent in some games than others. Some games, it really does matter. Like, for example, with the Walking Dead games. But like in others, like say, what was it? The Wolf Among Us didn't really have as much of an impact, I felt.
Okay.
That was a good game though, Wolf Among Us. I need to play that.
Never played it myself.
I got it in the Telltale bundle that was on the PlayStation Store like last year. It was like down from 90 quid to like 25. And I was like, well, 25 quid for 5 games with 5 episodes each? Yeah, alright.
Yoink. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. What did you think when Games Workshop destroyed Fenris, and do you think they're trying to discontinue Space Wolves?
Considering Space Wolves are one of the more popular Space Marine armies that they do, I doubt it. Regards to them destroying Fenris, lol. To put it bluntly.
Yeah, the fact that it was like, I was more bothered about the fact that what happened on the next page where Sortiarius came into the material realm. I kind of skipped over the whole Fenris got fucked over part.
So fuck Fenris, what happened to Magnus?
Yep, basically.
So the official answer to that is cry more.
Insert furry joke here, essentially.
Well, the Space Wolves, they've been around a while, but it seems like they kind of, aesthetically anyway, because that's all I know about them from, they really turned more Viking-like from what they were before.
They were Viking essentially from like 2nd edition onwards. That's when they really got their proper identity as being Space Vikings. And then it just fell off the wagon where literally they were just obsessed with wolves. So here's their Thunder Wolves and their Dire Wolves and the Wolf and the Wolf and the Wolf.
Wolf, wolf,
now
wolf,
fur
wolf,
is murder, so...
Yeah, plastic fur is murder. Do you know what?
Well, I mean...
Did anyone see essentially the Games Workshop trolling response?
Yes,
Like,
that was
not only that, they did two. Like, they did one like, Guardsmen, stop stealing fur off these clawed fiends. And a second one, what was the next video uploaded by Warhammer TV? How to paint fur.
Fucking... Like, for all the shit GW gets, deserved or not, that was fucking brilliant.
And I will go on record and say that GW themselves, have the best customer service of anyone. It's like, one of my sprues was damaged. Oh, we'll send you a brand new box set. You can keep that old one. Oh, cheers.
Oh, I got it. Your Commander Farsight head is... I don't have it in my head for my Commander Farsight. Oh, we don't have any more in stock. Deal with it.
Really?
Yeah, my Farsight, I either lost him under a desk or something, but I scoured under my desk looking for it. But he didn't have his head. And they said, we literally don't have another one. To send you. We got full boxes, but we don't have the spares, so we can't literally send you one.
Really? Oh, you must have had someone who was really pissed off that day.
It was on email rather than over the phone, but
yeah, that's what I mean.
So you really have to have Remley's call in these concerns for you.
To be fair, the staff at GW are brilliant. My GW staff are great. I can't argue with them.
The staff at the running store have been really good, except for that one guy.
One guy. Let's not go there. Remlays.
I'm calm. Do you know
Moving on.
Do you know this?
There's a rant coming up. It's cool.
No. We're not doing this. Go watch episode 3. Go watch episode 3. We're not doing it now. We're not doing it now. Because I think we still have an arse. Yeah, we still have an arse load of questions.
I was only ranting for 10 minutes straight.
Right.
It wasn't that long, but it was. I was cursing like a sailor. Let's put it that way.
Right. Was Goj Van Dyer insane or corrupted by chaos?
He was a nut job.
Okay. Talked about Dogs of War earlier. Does anyone expect the Emperor's Holy Inquisition?
Nobody expects the Emperor's Holy Inquisition.
Indeed. For Remlays, will you do more videos like your Quest for Knowledge video?
Yes.
Which was very good, by the way.
Yes. Funnily enough, Miranda's actually working on one for me at this point in time.
Convenient.
Yes.
Have any of you read the Blood Angels novels? If so, what did you think? And what about Dante's novel? Well, the Dante novel's pretty damn new. I personally haven't read them, no, but from what I've seen of this plot line, which is the whole Wraithen bio plot line, not too bad.
I've started the first one, but that's it. I have a nasty habit of starting books and then starting another one and then going back to that other one again. I've had a nasty habit of doing that. I need to stop. I need to read so much. Because I don't know about you, Michael, but I'm part of that Warhammer Legends subscription service where literally like you get like
I'm not.
books, you get 2 hardback books a month.
The problem I have is that because I'm so busy doing uni work, like I've got a Tau collection of stories, including a Farsight story that I haven't read, and I've got a Skitarii Mechanicus book that I haven't read because I've been so busy doing uni work, and I've had those since at the start of the year.
Bloody hell! I just can't wait for the next book to get, because the next one coming up is a Sisters of Battle novel. Finally enough, it's Faith and Fire by James Swallow, and he's a good author. I'm a fan of his actually, so yeah.
Well, Swallow wrote the Blood Angels novel, so there's a minor reference for you.
There you go.
Okay, next. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, Faith and Fire has been around a while, hasn't it? That's that book?
Yeah, it's like it's part of the subscription service, like a brand new grayscale hardcover version of it. You get you get two books a month for this service. I think it's only available in the UK though, so I apologise to all my American fans out there, but sorry about that. But like when you first started off with like the first month, you got as a free gift, you got like a big poster of the galaxy map, and then you had a bunch of coasters with 40k characters around, and then you had an Inquisitor tankard, and like Chaos bookends.
That'd be cool. I admit, I'd love that galaxy map for my wall, actually. If that ever comes available standalone, I will get that galaxy map.
I need to get it framed.
Okay, next question. How would you rank the Primarchs pre-Heresy in terms of raw combat prowess, i.e. who is the last one you'd want to fight in a fair 1v1 arena battle to the death? Angron.
Yeah.
No contest. No contest.
He's the Hulk on with Roid Rage.
Yeah, basically, if it's a very, very big arena, Magnus would be the last one I want to fight because he could just psychic me from anywhere. If it's close range, Angron all day.
I thought you were going to say, if it was a big arena, I'd just run away and have him chase me until he goes, oh, I'm suffering a cardiac arrest.
Okay, what do you want them to cover in Horus Heresy Book 8, aside from apparently Cygnus Prime and the Schism of Mars are confirmed? Apparently.
Battle for Pluto.
I don't think we're going to get to the Sol System yet, though. I feel like Book 9 will be the Sol System and 10 will be Terra. If they want to wrap it up in a nice, neat box.
That's true.
So yeah, I think Cygnus Prime and Mars will be more than enough for that book. Somehow. Because like Book 7 was pretty much entirely Prospero.
You say, like, it's not going to get to the Sol System yet, but Schism of Mars, that's Sol System.
No, but I mean the invasion of the Sol System by the Traitor Force. The Schism of Mars was an entirely separate event.
Sorry.
Because the Schism of Mars broke out like very early in the heresy.
And it was never loyalists. Well, there was tech marines on both sides on Mars as well, wasn't there? Who all
Kelbor Hall and the Dark Mechanicum, and then you had what became the Mechanicus were evac'd by Sigismund. Eventually. All right. So yeah, I think Cygnus Prime and Mars will be enough for that book because like Book 3 was all just Istvan. 5. I think actually no. Book 2 was all Istvan, was just the Dropsite Massacre. Book 3 had the aftermath of Istvan 5. Book 1 was all Istvan 3. Book 7 was just Prospero. So,
well, in fairness, the Istvan things and Prospero, they were like some of the most significant events, really. So yeah, it's only fair they both got an entire book devoted to them.
Istvan 5 got 2.5. Well, Istvan 5 got a book and a half.
Well, yeah, because Istvan 5 was like the biggest one.
True.
Outside of the Siege of Terror itself.
That's a point. Right. Right. Considering the Chaos Gods can represent positive qualities, which we've touched on before, are there any examples of good demon princes or the like? Not that I know of.
Well, you could argue any demon princes are Nurgle, because, Nurgle loves you. He just wants to make you, he just wants to give you all his gifts, because he loves you that much, so, It depends on what you call good. I mean, what he's doing is wrong, but he's doing it with the best of intentions. He's doing it because he loves you.
Well, I mean, so good would be like you get to stay alive, or good.
So basically, the Chaos Gods embody particular emotions. Like Khorne particularly comes with rage.
Anger, and Nurgle is like pestilence, and Slanesh is lust.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
But for because the Chaos Gods are not one emotion, they're made up of a sum of different things. They're the most dominant personalities in the warp, and so they come with other aspects. Like Khorne comes with honor, and Tzeentch, change in itself is neither benevolent nor malevolent, to quote Magnus, and you could always see it as progress, hope, as opposed to, and whilst Nurgle represents stagnancy, he also represents the circle of life and things like that. So that's why I think
I didn't actually realize they had positive aspects like that, or supposedly semi.
Sorry.
Thank you, episode 19 of Text to Speech. Still my favourite episode.
Yeah, because like you got love, honor, joy, and
hope, and things like that. Okay. If Game of Thrones can get a TV show, would Games Workshop consider a HBO Horus Heresy series if the demand was high enough?
They might consider it if the demand was high enough. Whether they do it is a different issue.
Yeah, because there's an actual comment response that says too much CGI and too expensive to do.
Well, the way around now, make it fully animated.
Yes, true.
So would it be better as an HBO special or Adult Swim?
Well, not necessarily Adult Swim. I mean, you can even make a case, just get like an anime company to do it. Because
maybe,
obviously, depending on which studio you do, because I know not everyone out there is a fan of anime, but if you take into account, like for example, Attack on Titan, that shit looks fucking amazing, whichever way you swing it. So if that company did a Horus Heresy anime, that could work. Or the company that did the Ghost in the Shell TV series. Again,
or whatever.
It could work.
Yeah.
I think realistically, animated is probably the best way to go. Just because the amount of effects you would need to do. Yeah,
the thing is, like with Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones at this point has pretty much abandoned the books, hasn't it? And it's doing its own thing now.
Pretty much.
They ran out of the book material.
Out of source material. Yeah, but I have a funny feeling that if so much as they took one step outside of the established canon, then it would get slaughtered. Not because of any other reason than we don't like it when people mess with our shit.
Nerd rage, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Well, it's not like there's a lack of material either. The only problem would be is once you put it into a visual format like that, I don't know how well some of the weirder aspects of the canon hold up. I mean, I know you guys were describing stuff earlier.
Yeah, also canon conflicts, like the fact, like who was first through the gates of the Imperial Palace? Was it Angron or was it Khan? Just as an example.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do a 40k TV series, it probably would be best to focus on something like, say, Caiaphas Cain or Commissar Gaunt.
Yeah, one series by one author. Yeah. Don't try and touch the heresy because it's just too complicated.
It's too big.
But
in fairness, a Gaunt's Ghost TV series, that should be awesome.
That would be good.
Considering Gaunt's Ghost is basically, sharp in space, and that got a TV series back in the 90s. So
yeah. That's asking about the Mortarian model. What do we think of it? We haven't really seen enough of it to make a judgment, I would say.
That scythe looks nice. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. We know orcs don't mind demonic incursions during warp travels. It means they have something to fight. Do orcs even have Geller fields? Or the equivalent to?
They do.
Okay.
They're just very large and rickety compared to other races, but they do.
Fair enough.
They just like to turn it off for a fight if they get bored.
Okay. Does the Imperial Guard get USO shows of any kind? What's USO?
Like that.
Yeah, it's the girls who've come out to visit. And it's isn't that just about improving morale?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Skip.
I can imagine they would, depending on the regiment. Some regiments probably won't. Like, I can't exactly imagine, say,
Kate.
The Acadians. Well, Acadia doesn't exist anymore. We don't talk about that. But I can't really exactly imagine, say, the Catachan going to a USO show. The Mordians, maybe.
Way too hard drilled.
Yeah, that's why it's only a maybe. Again,
Valhalla, or Talon.
Oh yeah, the Valhalla and Talon, yeah. Are the Valhalla still around? I heard they got blown up.
Don't know. Right, moving on. Is it possible for a gay Vaser to attain a rank high enough to pilot a crisis suit? Technically, yes, because the way the tower ranking system works is you have Sal, La, Oui, Vre, L, and O. Shut up. Sal is recruit, La is trooper, Oui is sergeant, Vre is senior sergeant / lieutenant, L is junior commander, maybe like a corporal, or I don't know military ranks well enough, and O is your overall commanders, your generals. And because Gay Vaser squads are often organised in the same way as the Guard are, you have Gay Vaser La are your basic guardsmen, basically. So Gay Vaser Oui, if you work up the ranks, but the problem is it's a different tree, so you're going up the Gay tree, the human tree, as opposed to the Shas tree, and only Shas Oui, Shas L, Shas Vre can pilot battle suits. The exception is Ovesa, who is Earthcast, but I don't think they trust the Gevesa with a battle suit. So in terms of equivalent ranking, yes. In terms of will it ever happen, no.
It's like that one picture of this crisis suit, and his speech bubble going, "What does this button do? Gevesa, Carl, get out of there!"
Something like that, basically, because they just won't be able to pilot. Because I think actually as well, I don't think they'd fit. Because the tower are generally smaller than the humans, and they're not stood in the suits. They're sort of like in the central area, sort of like almost curled up, piloting. They're not stood straight like in, let's say, a Dread Knight or a Centurion warsuit. Actually, no, Centurion warsuit, they're not either.
I bet Peter Dinklage could.
Oh, yeah. So not impossible, but probably will never happen in the lore. But theoretically, yes. Right. This is partly for Alexis, but also for Remlays. Why don't you all realise that's... Okay, this is basically an Overwatch rant.
Oh, no, skip. Fuck Overwatch.
Yeah. It's basically saying it's an overhyped community coming from every other gaming community, both cancer and alright. Deserves a 7 and 10. It's worth trying rating. Okay, whatever. Okay, two-parter. Whenever it is that Plastic Sisters get their release... I intend to convert them to Slanesh. So my question for Michael and Alexis is, how would I run Chaos Sisters on the tabletop? And for Remlays, is there any lore of corrupted sisters besides Let's Not Be Taken Seriously? We touched on that earlier. So, yeah. So in terms of running Chaos Sisters, well, just run them like you run normal sisters. Depends on what units you get for them, I suppose.
If you want to do them with things like Marks of Chaos, just use them as counts as Chaos Space Marines.
Pretty much.
No, you can't just make them the best sisters like faction.
But you can't give normal sisters a battle like Marks of Slanesh, for example.
You should just not do it. I don't know. That's one of the strengths of the sisters is like, oh no, they actually don't fall to chaos. It just seems like a weird spit in the face of what they stand for.
I raised you the Grey Knights, but sure.
Aren't the Grey Knights the ones that like wore sisters' blood to like avoid chaos? Like, isn't that a thing that happened?
Sort of.
They cover themselves in Sisters of Battle blood to protect themselves from a weapon that targets blood. Yeah, it's as stupid as it sounds.
So yeah, screw the Grey Knights.
Some things never change. Right. Do Thousand Sons have souls, and if so, can demons sense them? Yes, they're trapped in their armor. The souls are in there. That's how the rubricae work. How do Chaos Space Marines replenish their supply of gene seed from the traitor Primarchs if the only people who knew how to make it were the Emperor and Corvus Corax?
Fabius Bile helps.
Fabius Bile helps, and they also steal every piece of gene seed they get their hands on.
Yeah.
Right.
That being said, I'm pretty sure like the Dark Mechanicum do keep some supplies for them, just because they do
whatever they made off with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't forget as well, the Emperor's children did steal Horus's body, and Fabius Bile just extracted a whole bunch of gene seed from it to clone Horus. So he's probably got a massive supply of Black Legion gene seed. Well, as I say, Black Legion, the former Sons of Horus gene seed.
Former Lunar Wolf gene seed.
Yeah, he's got a whole shit ton of that sitting in his garage.
Well, the flesh market, I think it might have blown up. So
yeah, but he also made another baby with a Chthonian tattoo on his ass, and it's like, well,
Okay.
I've got enough supply of genes here for you.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's very fresh.
Do you think modders will have the ability to make different game modes in Dawn of War 3, or certain mods that will be throwbacks to the original Dawn of War games?
Probably.
Okay. Are there any 40k characters who are basically like MacGyver, able to escape certain death using basic knowledge of science and mechanics whilst using somewhat normal objects to do it?
Cypher. He's MacGyver. He can always get out of anything. He can do anything.
He's not a MacGyver. He's a MacGuffin. He's just a walking plot hole.
Oh yeah, that too. But he's probably the closest, in fairness. That being said, you probably might be able to make an argument for Caiaphas Cain, but that's stretching it a bit.
Okay. No, I don't have a power fist on my battlesuit. I have a stealth unit and a translator unit.
Oh, the Onaga Gauntlet, the donkey punch.
That's Brave Storms.
Yeah, but still a donkey punch, though.
I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it's Brave Storms, it's not on my battlesuit. This is interesting. This is kind of fun. Which Space Marine Legion is most likely to have an American accent? Which is like the North American drawn legions?
Oh, God.
And I know, I kind of know this one. So I'm gonna shut up.
Huh. It escapes me at this point in time.
Well, I know that the region that used to be North America was pretty much the home of the Iron Hands, the Night Lords, and the Death Guard. Were mainly drawn from that region, I think.
But at the same time, the ones who are recruited from the what would be the recruiting worlds would not have the same accent.
No, you can only talk about the Terran legionaries in themselves.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can't really talk about anywhere else because
because you say the Crimson Fist, for example. I know it's not a legion, it's a chapter, but they're all Hispanic essentially. So I can imagine each world developing their own accents. For example, I always imagined the Night Lords having a Eastern European accent. Just for the whole Dracula imagery.
Yeah. Actually, that would be the Raven Guard. The Raven Guard, no, maybe not. Hang on, let me double check my Raven Guard. It doesn't say where they were from the Asian deserts. Sorry, my bad. But they took, basically, the Raven Guard took Russia. So.
And the Night Lords will be like the Romanians and the Estonians.
The Night Lords themselves were drawn from. They were prisoners of children. Sorry, I'm pretty sure I have made.
What? They were prisoners of children.
Oh, children of prisoners. Sorry.
I was going to say, I was like,
sorry.
How shit must you be if you've been imprisoned by children? It's like, you can't go out there, you doodle head.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but a lot of them were drawn. The Iron Hands and the Night Lords were drawn from the same region, Albia. And I think if I go back to my Garrow video, I think I mentioned it.
Wasn't Albia Britain?
No, Albion was Britain. Albion, spelt with a Y, was Britain, I believe. Actually, no, sorry. Garrow is Albanian.
He's Albanian?
Yeah. Apparently.
Albia, bordering Northern Atlan.
North Atlantic. And the Pan-Pacific as well.
Ah.
So that's why I assume that's North America. And that's where the Night Lords and the Iron Hands were drawn from, initially.
Huh. Well, there you go.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. That's some stuff for Alexis. If the orcs believe they could kill a Chaos God, could they do it?
If they had enough of them, probably.
Also, if an orc war gets large enough, could they form another god out of it?
It's hard to say orcs, because they're like the only race that doesn't react to the warp the same as any other race. Orcs are pretty much unique in regards to how they interact with warp energy. Consider that it's not. They don't so much draw from the warp; they draw from a gestalt psychic field that each orc generates biologically.
Indeed.
And that's the weird thing. Because which just gets manifested in things like psychic vomit and stuff, because too much build-up around the weird boy causes its head to explode.
Yeah, they have to vent it in some way, and usually somebody's head explodes as a result.
Yeah, they just puke it out.
Yeah, I don't really know how the orc... Yeah, the way the orcs interact with the warp is a bit unclear right now. So, yeah. Interesting idea, though. Was Lionel Johnson part of the Cabal?
No, not as far as I'm aware.
No, me neither. Why are there no flying dreadnoughts? If they could make flying dreadnoughts, I think they would have done by now.
But that involves technological innovation. That's heresy.
Yeah, that's heresy, son. Has the Emperor ever tried to communicate with the Eldar gods and tried to maybe rescue Isha or something? Not that we're aware of. Again, he's the Emperor.
Then again, he might have, gone round, for tea and biscuits one day. And so, I love what you've done with the place. And I go, thank you, Isha's been decorated.
Yeah, extra layer of vomit on the walls.
It's like, Nurgy, I just cleaned that. Sorry.
It is often said that those who die from Nurgle's rot become plague bearers.
Yes.
Do they keep their personality and memories, or is the new plague bearer an entirely new being? Well, technically, it's the fact their souls get reincarnated by Nurgle and formed into plague bearers. So it depends on how much you value a soul, I suppose, in terms of how much power a soul has.
I think the only ones that keep any trait of their form of personality are the heralds, because they're formed from the ones that resist the disease the longest, which in turn creates a longer gestating period and a more powerful creature. So they might be the only ones who retain anything in regards to their personality, but as far as I'm aware, there's nothing confirmed.
Okay, that's fair enough. Can the Psykers of the Imperium basically do a shamans and create another god to help the Emperor? I know he's not a god, but you know what I mean.
Potentially they could. Whether they would know how to do it or not is a different issue. Considering that no one, as far as I'm aware, knows of the Emperor's origins apart from maybe a couple of custodies.
Yeah.
And that's not the type of information that would be shared, I presume?
No. Okay, about 5 more. If you could decide the direction of the 40k plot from Gathering Storm 3, how would, as they put it, ramp it up to 11 out of 10 plot-wise? Well, could we address the plot that just happened first, and then we'll talk about the next plot? But, yeah. Sorry.
So, moving on, essentially.
Yeah. Remlaze, if you're a Pokemon, would you be seen as a mechanical Cubone?
No. Just because Pokemon that actually is my favourite is Nidoking, so it would be a mechanical Nidoking, because Nidoking's badass.
Fair play. That's for Alexis, that's also for Alexis. And how many Snotlings would it take to take down an Imperator Titan?
What do you mean, European or North African Snotlings? Sorry, that doesn't quite work.
I don't know.
No, that didn't work at all.
I tried.
You tried. Basically, it depends on how many could get inside the Void Shields and then get into it. Once you get into it, you could probably start ripping shit up, as long as it's not particularly well guarded everywhere. But
the real question is, could the Snotlings then drive its legs?
Oh, God.
I managed to fit that in at least.
God damn it. Oh, dear. And that's it.
Awesome. And how far along are we?
It's gone 8 o'clock.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, time for rants. Does anyone have a rant? You wanted to bring up Age of Sigmar.
Basically, if you hate Age of Sigmar and you're okay with the 40k rules that have been announced, then fuck you, you're a hypocrite.
I have heard it being Sigmarized, as people have been putting it.
Yep. Basically, a lot of the movement stat has been... I know it's coming from 2nd edition, Remlaze, but hear me out on this. They've ripped that straight from Age of Sigmar. Rend, ripped straight from Age of Sigmar. The General's Handbook, ripped straight from Age of Sigmar. The amount of stuff they've taken out of Age of Sigmar or adapted from what AOS did. Like, the combat system is now Chargers Fight First. Again. like it was in Fantasy, because they tried a different system in AOS, didn't quite work. It's very complicated, very deep, but very annoying as well. So they took something and tried it again. If you don't like if you like 8th edition, as it will probably be, and you don't like Age of Sigmar for any reason other than the lore and the models, if you dislike its rules, then you are a hypocrite.
Now, I do know a lot of people, just from, again, watching on the outside, because I haven't touched Age of Sigmar, and I never friggin' played Fantasy either, so whatever. But it seemed like everybody went through, like, the stages of grief with it, and kind of came to accept Age of Sigmar, like, a surprising amount of people.
From what I see, like, a lot of people, I follow quite a few different people, a lot of people just, like, accepted it, and have just done what they can with it, and just run with it. But there was always, and there probably still is, a community who are just like, no, you get my Fantasy. It's Age of Sigmar. I don't like Age of Sigmar. I'm not even going to look at it. If you hate it but you don't mind the 8th edition rules, then stuff you, basically. And I'm sorry.
Do you think there will be a
King's back?
And I'm sorry.
Do you think there will be a similar reaction to 8th edition as there was from Fantasy to Age of Sigmar?
The funny thing is, like, when we've seen people's reactions to it in like video form or in posts or in tweets or whatever, and there hasn't been the same absolutely vitriolic reaction to it.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
And it's just
to it, though, because with Fantasy to Age of Sigmar, there was such a drastic change in comparison, like completely.
Well, yeah,
that's why what a lot of people had an issue, because each edition of the rules changes, but the core mechanics always stayed the same. In regards from Fantasy to Age of Sigmar, changing it completely, like getting rid of the square base and the regiment blocks and stuff, and make it more like skirmish orientated. It kind of like made people go,
yeah,
wait,
I understand. I understand why people got disillusioned with AOS, particularly if they were die-hard fantasy nuts. But this is going to be the biggest change to the 40k rules that I've ever seen. Like 4th to 5th, 5th to 6th, 6th to 7th, there were some changes to be sure, but nothing this radical. This is going to be the biggest set of changes I've ever seen.
It's not for me.
And
the biggest set of changes for me was watching it go from 2nd to 3rd, because that was such a drastic change. I mean, dropping the whole movement stat for one thing, that was a big change in and of itself. Yeah,
like, it's not like the first time this has happened, but it's just the way people reacted to Age of Sigmar, not just because of the Stormcast, and not just because of the destruction of the old world. I understand why people got annoyed about that. But people who hated it for its rule set, especially now with the General's Handbook and points values and generally not a badly put together game, if they still can't if they can't bring themselves to like or at least accept AOS, and yet they're fully okay to run with the 40k changes or at least give it a go, then that's hypocrisy, basically. And I'm sorry if I piss people off saying that, but
so devil's advocate, just to throw it out there, because I think that people are less, I don't know, it seems like people were less attached to the 40k rules while being more interested in the 40k lore. And, it's what they call a beer and pretzels game. Fantasy always seemed more serious. It always seemed like a large scale, like straight warfare game.
Yeah.
And
40K...
so with that change, I mean, you can like different types of games for different reasons, but when the one type of game you like, you can't really play anymore. I can see where people would be more upset about that than a game that is just a different type altogether, 40k being changed over to a more simplified rule set.
Yeah, like I said, I understand why people got upset about what happened to Fantasy. I do. I mean,
But more so than just being less upset over 40k current 7th edition to 8th, because the change is just something you were less invested in.
I think, perhaps. I think the people I'm mainly aiming at, for want of a better word, it's not those people who love the fantasy system and just like, well, I want to keep playing this, so let's make the ninth age thing, the custom rule set that exists. It's not those people, because like that's their game, that's what they like. It's the people who refused to even give it a go. It's the people who said, you know what, you've done that, but I don't care. I've decided on principle, not because I've tried it or because I don't like that particular style, because it's a bit like 40k. It's who on principle said, I will not play this game. I do not like this game. I have no evidence to back it up. I've decided from what I've seen, never played it, not going to touch it. I'm just not going to touch it. It's those people who are then like, oh, 40k is getting some rule changes. Interesting. Might be good, might be bad. Like that.
Well, I do wonder if it was a lot of people hopping onto popular opinion, because I know that Age of Sigmar had a turbulent launch because they did add points later and they did fix stuff.
Yeah, you can say that again. But it's the people who it's the people today. There will still be people who are just like Age of Sigmar, fuck that, and it's like you can't now say that and have an interest in take enjoyment in the 40k changes on rules. On rules anyway. On lore, AOS is woefully lacking. The models are really, really good.
They are really good.
But the lore is woefully lacking, and that's part of the reason I haven't fully thrown myself at it.
I think that's also another reason why a lot of people, were turned off by Age of Sigmar initially, just because of the fact that all the established lore is basically like, right, out the window, right, we've got all this more prog rock album cover style, inspired lore now, which has very little to do with the previous Warhammer Fantasy. It's no longer elves, it's aelves, it's no longer orcs, it's orks, and that kind of thing.
To come back to...
Isn't that like a deer kind of creature? Anyway.
Yeah, to come back to Miranda's point, actually, about you saying 40k is more about its lore, you can actually see that in Gathering Storm. Because when Gathering Storm was first announced and all this stuff started happening, like, oh my god, it's the end times. Oh, yeah.
Oh no, are you triggered there? End times?
Oh, the universe got triggered.
Well, and that was a big thing with fantasy, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but the world does end, right?
The end times was brilliantly done.
But the thing is, the end times of fantasy was actually called the end times. It wasn't called end times in Gathering Storm. It's just like, by the way, a Primarch's back now. Oh, okay, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because the end times of fantasy was beautifully written. And it was a brilliant send-off. Well,
except for that bit when Khaldor Drago showed up.
Mostly was very well written. The models were spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
But like Nagash and Archaon. Or maybe not Archaon, because Archaon got done.
Well, I would say that's GW's biggest strength, hands down. They're still their models.
Yeah, but the end times models were spectacular. The lore was good. The rules, while they were not used for very long, it felt like it was a really good send-off to fantasy. They did it right. Yeah. They did it right, and people don't really like the idea of an end times. Doesn't scare people. What scared people is if they do an end times and make it like Age of Sigmar, because that's what I remember. When I made an old end times video, like, could it be done for 40k? People were like, I just don't want 40k to end up like Age of Sigmar. I'm quoting my own comments there, but that's what people were like. And if they're now okay with these 40k rule changes, then I'm sorry, no.
They just ran out of all the energy they expended being angry the first time.
I think that'd be pretty much it, yeah. I've got no rant this week, surprisingly.
How? I could have sworn from what I saw 2 hours ago that there was a rant coming.
It would have to probably wait, considering the time, considering we've been doing this for nearly 2.5 hours now.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, mine will have to wait until another time.
Very well.
What's a new Watch Mojo?
Oh dear.
I just want to know how long we'll have to wait for the announcement on 8th edition, because I was about to go all in. I've been getting ready to go all in on some 40k battle reports, but I'm gonna have to wait now.
I think we'll get probably the first. Obviously, we've got the first bit at Adepticon. I think probably expect, well, if 7th and 6th are anything to go by, expect a mid to late summer release, July, August, is what it's been for the last couple of editions.
Yeah, that's what seems most likely.
Hmm.
And then the box game usually comes out around September, because that's how I got into 40k at first. Was 7th, 5th edition came out in the July, and Blackreach came out in the September.
Okay. Well, that should be interesting. And then there's new Sisters models. Yay. And Codex. Yay. Maybe we can win games now.
One can dream. And I think that will wrap it up for today's edition, just considering the time limit.
This may be the longest podcast we've ever done.
I'm sorry.
My fault. Completely my fault.
Yes, it's your fault, Michael.
Yep.
Triggered.
Hey, I've got a house party to go to in 90 minutes, so cut me some slack.
I'm gonna go catch Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ouch.
It'll be interesting because I'm going to see this movie having never watched the anime, so whatever.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no.
Sorry, I was all set to do the outro there.
Sorry.
Anyway, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching Adeptus Podcastus episode 15. We know it's been a little bit longer than usual, but hey, you've got an extra, 15 minutes of ranty goodness. So if you want to leave us a question for next time, which will be up on Remlaze's channel, then make sure to leave it in the comments with the word question. Bear in mind, we have
thought this was going on Alexis's channel this week.
The next one is. I'm going to even leave it on this one for the next one.
Right, my bad.
Yes, this is on Alexis's channel.
Yeah. My bad.
No worries. So yes, if you want to get involved with that, bear in mind we've answered a lot of questions by this point, so there may be a few that we end up skipping. Will we have a guest? I can't tell you because I'm not psychic. And yeah, thank you very much, Miranda, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Sorry that we shouted you down with nerdy lore stuff all the time, because that's what we do. We seem to alienate a lot of guests doing that. Cough, cough.
No, it was very fun. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Our pleasure. So, yes, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis.
This is Remlaze from 40k Theories.
And Miranda with Wargamer Girl.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.